Hey guys, welcome to episode 189 of 4PlayerAnimecast. I am your host, Spire, and it is the 5th of February. Yes, we are finally in a 1 month into the new year. I am currently in the middle of a winter storm where I am living, and I hope everybody is doing well. It is, what is this, 10:22 EST on the Eastern US coast, at least for me. And I am here with my compatriots, Dark,
Hello.
Near,
Hi.
and of course, Toast.
How many days has it been snowing for you?
It's been stuck for at least a couple of days, but the
Sucks to be
bigger thing.
you. Mine was done in one day, and now I'm just
uh,
sitting in
the
clear
the good
weather.
thing is it's over now, I think, hopefully. But I had to spend like an hour or two yesterday just with the ice scraper, just like trying to like almost bash open my car window because everything had frozen
Sucks to
over.
be you. How come you're getting the leftovers of our winter storm?
I don't think yeah, it's kind of sucks, but anyways, we are here to discuss the second part of our Winter 22 season. So let's just head right into it. Or actually, before that, we do have to cover our past 2 weeks. Dark, what have you been up to?
Um, you know, uh, fucking playing Punishing Gray Raven, like
Oh,
nonstop
okay.
as much as I can. So there's that.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Trying to think of what else. Kind of just waiting on Lost Ark to come out. You know, waiting to turn Korean. Uh, but yeah, I haven't really been doing a whole lot. Been watching some stuff, but I also feel like there's not a ton of new stuff that I'm like super keen on right now.
Well, we
So
talked about this during the preview where this season was a little bit iffy in some aspects, right? At
yeah,
least for our tastes, usually. So it is understandable. All right. So I guess yeah, just staying quiet for the most part then. And I guess if that's that, what about you, Nier? How have your past 2 weeks been?
Um, well, uh, still raiding in Final Fantasy. Uh, we finally cleared P3S. Was it last week? I think. Um, so that was
Uh,
nice. That fight sucks. We did um we did our re-clears yesterday, and then we've moved on to progging P4. uh, which also sucks. Not the funnest fight. I'm not gonna lie. Um, but that's been fun. Other than that, the Shadowverse mini expansion came out, although I haven't really fucked with it too much. But I hear
mm,
this mini expansion is a bit more of a like
okay.
an event kind of thing,
Event, yeah.
because I think they release more cards than they usually do. Um, and it's like actually got a theme. It actually got like its own trailer. It's a bit more involved than just like, yeah, here's a bunch of other cards. Um,
Right.
so a bit more exciting, but yeah, I haven't really messed with it. They brought back the omens. If you remember those cards,
Hmm.
like what was his name? Like Mirabane, the guy where you needed like no dupes in your deck. They brought him back, stuff like that. Um, so kind of fun, but yeah. Um, Other than that, I haven't really been up to too much. Just keeping up with gotcha shit. Um, I haven't really watched too much this season because again, season's kind of whack. Um, but
What about Rusty or Bisco?
I mean, it's okay. I like it, but
Mm.
I mean, Bisco's kind again.
Nothing's like
Bisco,
super exciting you this season,
yeah,
essentially.
Bisco for
Nothing.
me, like Bisco is kind of like the one show that's like yeah, like I'm down for this.
Uh-huh.
There's really nothing else like that this season. Just kind of
Your
unfortunate.
heart's not going Doki Doki
Yeah.
is the issue, yes.
Um, but other than that, I'm just waiting for Elden Ring to come out because I pre-ordered
You
that
and everyone else.
at a sweet discount. So
Okay.
But yeah,
All
that's
right.
about it for me.
Good stuff. Good stuff. What about you, Toast? Toast,
What do you
yeah.
want? What do you want?
Your past 2 weeks, please.
Uh, I've been not playing Master Duel, I guess.
I was about to say that for my 2 weeks, to be honest.
I've been looking at streams and I'm like, I guess I should be playing Master Duel, but I'm not playing Master Duel.
Well, it's
Good.
less that I should be playing Master Duel and more like
Why?
everybody on my list is playing Master Duel right now.
You should
You know what I
not
mean?
play Master Duel if you think you're gonna play Eldlix. Get out of here, Meta Slave. Get out of here. Play something you actually like, not meta. If you were a real Yu-Gi-Oh fan, you'd play what you like and counter that meta.
Honestly, I like
Wow,
the
you
sort of
like the
archetype
what
of
you like the
of
one monster and the 39 traps you play, and
yeah, I
maybe just
do.
the 10
That's the sad,
staples. Wow, look
that's
at
the
this
sad part.
guy.
I do. But
If you
anyways,
don't
other than
know,
not playing Master Duel, what
Eldlix is one. It's like one 8-star monster, and the rest is 39. It's like
no, I
the rest of
realize
the
I
archetype
realize
is
what the
trap
card.
monsters.
I
So
realize what the deck is.
if this was Duel Links, Spire would be an Odeon player. We're constantly recycling his traps. It's like no one likes that guy.
Anyways, other than not playing Master Duel, what have you been up
If
to?
you said oh if you said something like oh I like Sky Strikers, I'd be like damn you simp. But I understand because Sky Strikers is a fun deck even if it's links. Or even Dragon Mates, I'd be like damn you really like that a Dragon Mate, huh? But I understand. And I'd respect that. That inspired the first things when I was talking about Master Duel and how much I don't not want to play. So I was like, oh, why don't you just play Eldritch? And I'm like, get out of here. You definitely
I
in
apologize.
that deck that you internet search the deck and I'm like, ugh. Heck. Oh.
Again, well,
What else?
Master
For
Duel
two
aside,
weeks. 2 weeks.
yes.
Got like 6 inches of snow. That was cool. I didn't get the 12 I was promised, so I was lied to.
Anything else? I know
Uh,
obviously if you were hit by a storm, it's not exactly, you were probably trapped inside for a couple of days, so.
well, why would I be trapped? I'm not trapped. I was sitting there watching the snow pile up, and I'm like, yeah, yes, more, but I didn't get more. I was
Okay.
I was very, very disappointed.
Or anything else?
I don't know. Germa got a new voice actor. That was cool.
All right. Well, I guess on my end, the 2 weeks again have been pretty quiet as far as things go again. Um, a little bit of winter storm going on. I've been pretty quiet in these past 2 weeks. Not been up too much. Um, what was I doing? I've been trying to, what is it? I've been trying to get back to visual novels a little bit more, but for some reason I haven't been able to kind of, how do I say this? Sit down and really kind of enjoy myself with a sort of slower visual novel, and it's been a little bit disappointing. And there aren't enough. How do I say this? I do like Asa Project, the studio who made stuff like Primary Wars and so on. I do like their pacing, but it's like I haven't liked a lot of their more recent stuff recently, and there's not been a lot of visual novels where there's like much more face fast-paced dialogue and kind of going through stuff. I might be going through Nukitashi. I don't know, but you have to see. So it's been a little bit hard to get sort of a decent time to get to a slower pace visual novel, and I've been changing my sleep schedule a little bit here, so it's been a little bit more difficult on that end as well. But other than that, it's been pretty quiet. I've been going through a couple of stuff, watching a little bit of Orienteer, watching a little bit of a Genius Prince there, and kind of going through the anime season. I'm a little bit more partial to this anime season than I think the other guys are, but it's not. I
I mean, I
haven't.
think the season overall is good. I just don't think it's great for
Yeah, yeah. It's not. It's not. There
new
aren't like a
series.
bunch of hit. Yeah, it's not like there are a bunch of
I
hits
think
where
if
you're
you're
like,
including
whoa.
if you include
Yeah.
like sequels or ongoing, it's really good. But
Oh yeah, sequels this season is packed for sure. Yeah. But yeah, for new series it's a little bit flatter for sure. So I've been a little bit on the quiet side, but other than that, there hasn't been too much.
So you're looking for new VN Spire, right?
I didn't
But
say I was looking for new
so
VNs, I think.
have you checked out that revenge game one? That hot new death game one?
No. I usually
You want to
don't.
hear about it?
It's fine.
So
I'm
okay, so it's the one where the one where it's a death game, but
yeah, the one that's
Yeah,
really
that one.
narrowing it down.
so it's like there's the main character. He's your average Japanese male who gets beat up by three women in high school,
what the okay.
and then,
What
then
the
it's
fuck?
As
As you do. As sometimes it happens,
a daily
what is it called?
occurrence, really.
What is it called? It's called a revenge game. Come shot or death.
Of course.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, so then he gets the mysterious app on his smartphone, and it's like, oh, he gets isekai into like, he's getting beat up at school, and then gets isekai to nighttime at school, and he gets the app, and it's like, oh, it's your revenge game versus these three chicks that been bullying you, and they gotta make you come
We
or
need to go
or you
back
die. And I'm like,
and
oh.
like make sure no semblance of Shield Hero ever fucking happened.
See,
You mean
let me pull up.
Arifureta? I think Shield Hero is like one thing where
Both,
Shield Hero
all
does
of them,
end up being
really. We
boring.
need to just
Well,
fucking
yeah,
get rid
that's
of
true.
all of them.
If possible, all of them. But I think I mean I don't want to get into this too deeply, but my opinion on Shield Hero is that it gets flat very quickly. It's disappointing.
After his revenge in
It's
quotes
like
is boring.
Shield Hero is disappointing. Arifureta is just abominable. There's the usage of the sort of acerbic nature that I exhibit towards Arifureta is not the same towards Shield Hero. So, well, anyways, but
All right,
that's
so
that.
let me go over the death game rules because this is important. All right.
I don't think it's that important, Toast, but sure.
Okay, let's see. Plus something, whatever. The three girls gotta search for this item, and if they find all of this item, your heart, the main character's heart stops beating. Who cares about that? And then there's the what is this? You should you should find the girls and challenge them to ejaculation battle. You can do this by
The fuck?
focusing your smartphone's camera on a girl and pressing the
Fire,
battle
what do you
button.
mean, what the fuck? You've never heard of this?
The girl must then proceed to make you
Unfortunately.
come within 3 minutes. If she fails, she'll lose one heart, and each girl has 4 hearts in total.
What the fuck?
If a
That's
girl
crazy.
loses all of her hearts, then her heart will stop beating. You can only perform one such
Jesus
ejaculation battle every
Christ.
1 hour.
What
Wow,
on
1 hour.
earth?
I
Every
get it.
1 hour. Really limiting.
The death game will continue until either your heart or the hearts of all three girls are no longer beating. There is no time limit, and the participants must not attack or restrain any other person, nor are they allowed to move around when someone is sexually teasing them in line with the rules. You, the male participant, are not allowed to masturbate / bring yourself to climax. If anyone breaks the rules, their heart will stop beating. So it's like one. So it's like 1 versus 3, and whatever. I don't know.
Anyways.
The battle system's kind of fun.
Well, I mean, you know my stance on visual novels and the mini games like doing RPG / dungeon
what's
Yeah,
crawlers.
your
you know
hot take?
Spire's stance on female ejaculation does not
Yeah,
exist.
Yeah,
I don't know
it does
about
not
So
exist.
so it's kind of rigged
So
when you
says
think about it.
my doctor wife.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you, Toast, for going over some Edo suggestions, and
Wasn't there
we
something you linked
Yeah,
on
that's a
Steam
new
recently?
that's a fun new bit to think about. Ben Shapiro reading off eroge fucking premises.
God damn it. Let's say hypothetically that. Anyways, we should move on and start off. I guess we'll start off with me, because I have pretty much. I want to say I don't want to say the most shallow series, but probably the most like episodic is just kind of like, just get it over with kind of series, and it is uh Tensai Ouji no Tensai Ouji no Akaji Kokka Saisei Jutsu, or The Genius Prince Sky to Raising a Nation Out of Debt. And this is by Studio Mouse. I forget what Studio Mouse have done recently. They're not like a super big studio, but I believe wait, is it Studio Mouse? It says audio productions here. What is this? Who is doing this? Is it Mouse? Key Animation. Yokohama Animation Lab. They split up audio production and animation productions. So
What?
that's because that's usually rare, right? You don't usually split up animation production and audio production, but they did apparently for some
Weird.
reason. So this Yokohama Animation Lab has done has done this. They've done some weird ONAs. They did Legend of Mana, the Teardrop Crystal. What the fuck? They did they did Magatsu Warhai. The thing I think I
Oh,
watched, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
your
that one
favorite
that was
show?
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was terrible. And then they supervised Tao on Monday too. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? Supervision. Okay, sure. But this is not an isekai, but one of those sort of power fantasy, feudal fantasy kind of series where there's a certain kingdom and it's kind of in not shatters, but it's in tatters, right? There's not a lot of good things going on. The king is ill, and so one of the king's sons, the Vine Wayne, yeah, Wayne Arbalest, it has been
Bruce
deemed,
Wayne? What?
yeah, Bruce Wayne, yeah, has been crowned Prince Regent, and so he and his aide, who is called
What's the
Minu, I
difference
think.
between a prince regent and a prince consort?
I'm not sure actually. I'm like really I am gonna be honest with you. Like with regards to stuff like the Duke, Baron, stuff like that, like the feudal titles and like the crown. And I'm really bad at like knowing what those titles are. Even like with military ranks. Like I work as a military contractor and I still don't know like what rank is. I know like obviously like they're like at past a certain point, like I know that some ranks are like super important, but it's just like I don't know the exact like ordering and stuff, and it's really
Prince
frustrating.
Re- this Prince Regent's fire is if your king's stupid, turns stupid or ill, and then
Oh,
the
okay.
prince has to take over, so they're called the Prince Regent because
Okay.
they're now the big regent, and then the Prince Consort is if your wife is the queen, but you're not a king, so you're the Prince Consort because you're
Oh,
not
okay,
that
okay,
cool yet.
okay.
And
Because
then
you're not that good. Okay.
there's the Queen Dowager, which is like the previous king died, and like so now you're
Okay.
you're the widowed queen, so you're the Dowager.
Yeah,
Some
I understand.
some
Well,
usually used to refer to the previous queen of an era. They're still alive.
anyways, so this genius prince, I guess, is very capable, and he's leading the country to success, and he's setting up all these rules and kind of going through diplomacy and you know doing genius tactics and winning all these skirmishes and stuff like that. And you'll see it like episode to episode. It's not really like a huge like one long arc kind of like build up. It's more just like an episodic series of, hey, this battle is happening, or like this crisis is happening in the nation. We got to prevent it. And then the genius prince kind of comes up with a tactic or like a strategy to kind of win, or does goes through skillful diplomacy and kind of convinces everyone, or comes out on top, whatever. And then every once in a while, there's like a comedic relief scene where he's just like, everything's done, and he's just like with his aide, and he's, man, I'm tired. Like, I don't want to deal with this shit, or like, oh man, this is bullshit. Like, this is stupid. I don't care about this, or like, I don't want to do it, but why, like, complaining. So it's like an alternate. It's like 80-20 or 75-25. Like 75 is like the guy being all like, yeah, this is what you do, or like, this is a strategy we should take, blah, blah, blah. And it's like it's always successful. And then the other 20-25% is the comedic relief with like yeah, I'm just gonna make out with the girls, or, like, I don't want to do this, or him being kind of like whiny or whatever. And this is, akin to the similar kind of uh some of the isekai or some of the other feudal fantasy series and stuff, like the Genshiki, like, what is it? The realist hero founding the kingdom, or what is it? Risu no Himo Seikatsu, right? So stuff like that where the hero or the isekai protagonist or whoever comes in and uses actual statecraft, building helping to build infrastructure, or working with people to boost agriculture or revenue or whatever, and going through all these steps and helping the kingdom out, right? So we've seen a couple of these in recent years pop up, and for the most part I really like them because I've always detested the sort of Game of Thrones level of, oh, these duke ruling kingdoms and kind of managing a nation, or becoming king or whatever, is all just about whatever incest, or like killing just the other guy, or like taking their head, or uh just moving the armies around. I really like the anime series or the manga or light novels or whatever. They really kind of go through the different, more, I guess, more menial parts of statecraft, of how these nations are managed in an obviously like fun anime sort of way. But this one struck me with a different feeling. I think the tone was quite different. Where before, with Risuno Himoseikatsu, or like Realist Hero or whatever, it was there were obviously rom-com aspects to it. It was obvious that the protagonist was in like a power fantasy kind of thing, but the focus was a lot more on him, on the protagonist, kind of positing the idea, like, "Hey, why don't we do this?" And then everybody being like, "Oh, that's really good," blah blah blah, and then that idea kind of getting implemented, and then people kind of seeing the changes. Right? It's not really about the main character, for instance, kind of being like, "Hey, I'm from Japan, and in Japan, do you know what we do? We do crop, or do you know what modern Earth people know about? We know about crop rotation." And everybody's like, "Whoa, you are a genius! Crop rotation!" Like, stuff like that. It's not. It's a little bit more, how do I say this? The idea is focused on the implementation. It's not so much focused on the power fantasy as much. But I think this series is quite different in that the tone, although the structure is quite similar, in that the main character is like, here's an idea, and everybody's like, oh wow, that's really smart. That did a blah blah blah. You did everything. Essentially, I was like, "What do you mean I'm not supposed to eat food covered in shirts?" It's like the classic scene that we always talk about, right? Is when the main character is like, what's the one big Japanese dish? Curry and rice, and all the feudal people
Whoa.
are like, "What? I can't believe you made this masterpiece." But anyways,
Aspire, you forgot about the most sought after Japanese ingredient in these isekais.
what is it?
Mayonnaise.
Yeah, no, or they make the guy makes a hamburger steak, and the one like girl who's just like some like random tribal village girl or whatever who's eats the hamburger patty, and she's like I can't believe this is a thing that exists. Yeah, these people have never thought of sauces. Says yeah in the chat, but I think the tone of this series again, Tensai Ouji no Tensai Ouji, is quite different, like markedly different, and the aim is different. The aim is, I mean, part of it's the fact that the characterization of the main character is that he's just sort of an arrogant genius prince who just wants nothing to do with this. But even so, a lot of the focus is much more on this the surroundings kind of blowing smoke up his ass, right? It's just like he says or does something, or he suggests a strategy, or let's do this. I'm gonna say this to the other guy, or I'm gonna send the soldiers here, or I'm gonna wait for the enemy to do this, or whatever. And everybody's just like, wow, you're so smart. Oh my god. And even the way the scenes are portrayed, and the way he's doing the monologue, and the way he's explaining stuff, and it's all to kind of again blow smoke up his ass and be like, "See how smart I am? This is genius. Like I thought of this because I'm so smart." Blah blah blah. And that's the entire tone of the series. And I don't really like that as much. So I don't know. I don't like the series very much overall because I think there are plenty of other series that do pretty much the same structure, but without constantly hitting the viewer over the head with, oh, the MC is so smart for figuring this out. The protagonist is so good. He's so smart. He's a genius. Blah blah. And I don't need to be hit with
Yeah,
that
just
hammer
like
every
me.
freaking day. Yeah, just like me. Uh, so uh, overall, I would say that this series is pretty mediocre. Again, there's been other series like this, and I think they do it in a better set way. I think they have the ideas implemented while still having that sort of rom com, sort of that power fantasy tinge, without setting the tone to constantly be like, "Oh, did you know I'm a genius?" And so I thought of the strategy. Like I don't need that sort of tone in my life. I don't need that tone in my anime.
I'm kind of
So
a
yeah.
big deal.
Yeah, excuse me. Have you ever heard of this thing called
Have you
Japanese
heard of
curry?
me? I'm kind of a
Yeah.
big deal.
Don't you know my
Have you
uncle
heard of
works at
the
Nintendo?
phalanx formation? Oh, but yeah, I just
The
again,
phalanx
I don't.
formation is so good. Why does no one use it nowadays?
That's
Have
that.
you heard of
I still think one of the
trenches?
most egregious ones might be, as much as I like the series, um, was it the pancakes that Mine makes
Yeah, I mean
in
the
in
hotcakes,
Bookworms?
the hotcakes slash
Yeah, because
pancakes,
it's
the
just like,
souffle
you
pancake stuff.
guys
Yeah.
have bread. What do you mean you didn't think to grind up the scraps and maybe cook it or something from these like common fucking things you make?
Oh, also technically, and this is a tidbit from like Tasting History Channel or whatever, but back then, right? It was actually well, actually no, white bread was for nobility. So it's like it's not really like the idea of the pancake that was good. It was more the fact that like people would use white bread or like have like actual white flour instead of just going for wheat bread, right?
Yeah.
And so it doesn't really matter if it's a pancake or whether it's a bread loaf. It's like as long as it has the fine flour, it's like whatever. So anyways, that was just my review of getting back to the point, my review of Tensai Ouji no Akashi Kokka Saisei Jutsu. Saisei Jutsu, and
Who
I
who
just
who did you
think it's very good.
who are the voice actors by?
Oh yeah, so the voice
Hit us up
actors is
with them voices.
Takashi Rie, Saito Soma. So yeah, this is a pretty solid list here, right? Toyama Now here, Saito
Who's
Soma,
Toyama
Takashi
now?
Rie, what is it? Otsuka Akio, Matsuda Kenichiro, Senbogi Sayaka here. Yeah, a lot of pretty big voice actors slash actresses in the top line and the main voices, and I believe OP is done by Yanagi Nagi of Supercell fame. So um and oh yeah, and ending is done by Yoshino Nanjo. This is much more money than I expected. I guess that's why they split up audio production and animation production for some reason, but anyways, that's my review. It's pretty mediocre. I wouldn't really recommend it. If you do like this sort of stuff, I would just recommend that you read Ritsuno Himo Seikatsu or like Realist Hero or watch it or whatever. So yeah. But anyways, that was my review of Tensai Ouji, or what is it? What's the English name here? The Genius Prince's Guide to Raising a Nation Out of Debt. Or Tensai Ouji no Akashi Kokka Saisei Jutsu. Soda, Baikoku Shio. But yeah. Anyways, that was my review. And moving on here to Toast.
What?
What do you have for us today?
I what's it called again? I don't remember. I don't care.
Worlds End Harem?
Huh? All right, yeah. Okay. I watch Worlds and Harem.
Uh-huh.
And
And
Yeah, and
I believe the review is muted.
It's made by who? Let me look. Let me look.
It's made by
Studio
Studio Gokumi, right?
Studio Gokumi, famously
Yes.
known for I don't know, Kinira Mosaic probably.
what?
That Kinira Mosaic. That's the one off the top of my head.
they did Kinmoza.
They did Kimmoza, Endro, oh god, they've been really into Yuki Yuna, but Yu Yu is like pretty popular. The thing is, it's weird. Okay, so sorry for the tangent, but like Yuki Yuna, right? Near, do you know about this series any more than I do? Because it's like this shit has been getting a lot of spin-offs, but
I
I've never
mean,
really seen like that much
I
in terms of like
watched I watched
merchandise.
like the first Yuki Yuna.
Yeah, I
And
hated that shit to be honest.
I was like, oh, okay, sure. But yeah, it's pretty pop. Well,
It's
it
popular, but
keeps
I've
getting
never seen like
series.
merchandise. Yeah, it
Yeah,
gets series, but
I
it doesn't
never
get like
see
merchandise.
figures. I never see
Yeah, like like a
acrylic
bunch of games or
stands
whatever.
or like
Yeah, yeah,
Isn't
yeah,
it a
yeah.
anything. Like
mobile game?
There's like
I have
one
no
mobile
I have
game. Yeah,
No,
there's like
it's
one
all
mobile game that was
it's been a
released
light
recently.
novel too.
Yeah,
I
but
guess it.
beyond that, like
Oh,
I
okay.
haven't really seen a lot of like
I
actual merchandise.
I mean, it's kind of like Madoka Light, I guess.
Yeah, no, that they're clearly trying to go for that.
yeah, but
I mean, I mean, I get it. It's okay.
But they
I
need
don't.
to
yeah,
like actually sell stuff off of it. But I've
I'm
never
not really
seen
sure what like the secret to
the popularity.
the fact that this series has gotten like 8 seasons.
Yeah, yeah,
I really
yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
I
Anyways,
mean, it doesn't have Yuki Kajiura, or does it? I think. Let me check. I think
I feel like it does.
did it?
I yeah.
I don't know. I remember I called it Madoka Light because it kind of looked like Sao, but it had a, but it was Madoka in a way. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I mean, I don't have any real problems with the series. I guess.
Yeah. Well,
Whatever. What
anyways,
else?
you aside, do you wanna
What
you
else? There was also Axis. Sure, I guess. I guess I know why. For those scenes, sure, okay, maybe. My Tetsu. Wow, that's That's
Anyways,
a callback.
we should probably get back to World's End Harem.
Yeah.
The
apparently-
you is not the series we were trying to cover, but yeah, going back to World's End Harem. How do you feel about that series or this series? I guess.
So premise of the series is, what is the main guy? I don't care. The main dude, Mizuhara Reito, he's some sort of genius medical prodigy, and
Uh-huh.
he lives in the world of 2040,
The world of 2040. Yes, the year
The
Where-
2040.
wild world of 2040. Yeah.
or like it's it's the perfect utopia where everything's done by machines, and the only reason you would have a job is if you feel like it. I guess.
Right.
So he's this genius doctor guy, I guess. He's all like, "Oh, I'm a medical prodigy, but oh no, I have bonitis." But it's
Does he
Bonitis.
actually have bonitis?
no, he has cellular sclerosis.
Oh.
And I'm like,
I
oh,
think that's
is that the same as multiple sclerosis? No
no.
one knows. But yeah, hey, so he's like, oh no, I got my bonitis, so I gotta go into cryo sleep for up to 3 to 5 years, while the machines make a cure. And I'm like, oh wow, that's convenient. Before he goes into cryo sleep, he confesses to his, I guess his love. Let's call her that. Sure. Childhood, because
Childhood
they,
friend
they,
slash yeah.
they've known each other since elementary school, so the childhood friend. So she's like, Erisa, I like you. And she's like, damn, why aren't you telling me that now? Even though we've been together for like, over a decade, I guess. And he's like, because I have cellular sclerosis. So I gotta go to sleep for 5 years while they come up with a cure. And I'm like, you loser. You're telling her that now? Before you go to sleep? Like, why didn't you tell that earlier? And he's like, oh, because he doesn't have a chance. Now that it's come to this, I have to make it or break it. And then and then he's all like, he doesn't even wait for her response. He's like, and I'm satisfied just telling you. And I'm like, we're gonna go that route, huh? And he goes to cry sleep, and then the chick's like, I'll wait for you for 5 years. Or whatever. And he's like, yes, my life is fulfilled. I can die happy now. I'm like, is that all you really wanted? Just to tell the chick how you feel, but not wait for her answer back? That's kind of rude,
That's
selfish, don't you
Dime
think?
Dash style here. Just hit and run.
Yeah. So then
Also,
anyway,
just like if it's the year 2040 and machines can fucking create like disease cures in 5 years flat, why bother waiting? Like, why bother acting like that's the end then? I would hope cryo sleep is one of the simpler parts of that society.
That is
yeah,
true.
but here's the plot twist. He wakes up 5 years. It's kind of like in Futurama, I guess, where he wakes up 5 years later. Then he's greeted by some chicks, and he's like, "Oh."
Oh.
And he's like,
Uh-oh.
"Oh, hey, how's my sclerosis?" And he's like, "Oh, it's been healed." While the lady nurse was looking at his junk, I guess. That was cool. And he's like, "Oh, can I go home?" And then some mysterious purple lady, kind of looks like Arisa, his childhood crush, but isn't. Like I forgot her name. Mira, I think. She's like,
Mira?
"Oh, welcome to the
Mira,
apocalypse."
so Mira. Oh.
Yeah, and they're like, then he tries. He's like, "Oh no, the apocalypse! Let me run.
The
Let me.
apocalypse? Oh, jeez.
Oh
Oh,
shit!
He
jeez.
slams the door shut on his cryopod.
The apocalypse. Oh crud!
More like
Can't believe.
it's the other way around. Dark. They're trying to explain the situation to him in his in the blacked out limousine, so no one can see him. But he's like, "Oh, I gotta get out of here and go home." So he busts out of the
Darn it.
limousine and runs down the street, but all he sees are women, and they're all like, "Oh no, it's a
Scary
man!"
stuff.
So they try to
Mm.
assault him, but they get him back safely, and so the Mira explains to the dude like, "Oh, while you were sleeping 4 years ago." So basically, in 2041, someone released the MK virus into the world. You get it,
Forced
you get it,
everyone to play Mortal Kombat.
get it. MK virus.
Yeah.
MK stands for
I get it.
man killer, and so they're like, "Oh, it only affects males." So all the males have suddenly started dying out. 99.9% of I would I mean, do you think this guy? They say 99.9% of all men have died
Like
out
it's
in these
like
5
That
years.
still
having
leaves
one
a
of those
decent amount, though.
That,
Like,
that's
Yeah,
like
that's
one
still
of
a lot
those.
of people.
It's like a mouthwash ad. It's like it kills 99% of germs, but it's like
Yeah.
with men.
That's the problem I had. I was like, if it's 99.9% of how many people are in the world? Let me Google that real quick. How many people are on Earth?
well, you
Like
would also have to
7,
project
like
that for
7 billion.
2040. Like,
Yeah, and
it'll
then
probably be like
we're
12 to fucking
yeah.
13
I'd say at
billion
least
people by then.
like 10. Like if we're really going like conservative, I'd say like 10 billion people, right? And then cut that in half, like say for men, right? So like 5 billion men, and then 99.9% of 5 billion men. Like that's still a lot of people. I'd think.
Yeah, but apparently, yeah, that number is obviously arbitrary. It should be like less than 0.001, but whatever.
I mean, realistically, he should be like one of the few fucking remaining men alive then.
That's the thing. That's the thing, Dark. So far, they've only confirmed 5 males who are immune to the MK virus.
wait.
How is that? How is that?
You're gonna hit us
How
with
has humanity
99.9% of men, but then you're gonna be like, yeah, we only found 5 guys. That's like a lot more. That's virtually 100%.
They're really bad at finding dudes. Okay, they're really bad. Like
I don't know
Yeah,
what's
their search function is not
0.1%
available.
5
I
billion.
I guess it's for the obvious.
That is 5 million men left. Like,
I mean,
Nah, I think you mean 5.
I mean, if you
so they
if
found 5 out of 5 million men.
I
Damn.
mean,
Well, the estimates aside,
they could wave it off as saying like, because once they discovered the virus, a bunch of the men went to cryosleep. So let's say 5 million men are in cryosleep. They only found 5 who are immune, but they're calling it 99.9% of all men are dead. I'm like, okay, you obviously don't know your numbers, and then 99.9 is for the tag, for like the headline. That's cool. But yeah, they said something like, "Oh, due to the way your cellular sclerosis has been treated, you're immune to the MK virus." And so,
So then they should probably treat 5 million other men the same way. I'm just going to throw that out there.
but the thing is, they
well,
It
haven't.
seems like quite the medical breakthrough. I don't know.
The thing
well,
is,
the numbers aside, okay. So the important point is now you have the girls and you have the men, right?
so
How
they're
is shit
saying
down?
that like oh, I got to explain more about the lore so it doesn't sound like bullshit, even though it kind of does. It's like, all right, since basically half the population has been died out, and due to most of everything being run by machines, we've lost most of our technology, over 50%.
What?
God damn it! Not like
That's how you
this.
that's
Yeah,
how it goes.
listen,
What?
the
Not
cute
like this.
pictures of like women banging wrenches on computers.
So
Like, what the...
so this all happened in the course of 5
Five
years. Am I?
5 years. No,
5 years?
4 years. 4 years.
Wait, but also machines can... But
So
machines can cure viruses, but they can't figure out how to use
they
any?
yeah
Wait,
they
what?
can't.
Yeah, because what half the population died, so we lost, so they couldn't pass it on to the next generation, and they've been relying on
That
machines.
next
So
It's
generation
been
it took
4
4
years!
years.
yeah, pretty much. So so I guess there's subtly implying that most of the males were like highly competent in their. At least the ones that work were highly
Yeah,
competent.
are the women in this universe just like cavemen and they're just like banging on the machines?
I mean,
how do they lose most of their technology within the span of 4
like
years?
we don't know how to
Without
use it.
men, you can't run technology.
I mean,
Duh. That's how the lore of this in this
yeah, you can see where this is
novel
going.
works. Yeah,
We
The-
obviously immediately called that bullshit out the moment you heard of it. So
yeah. The point is okay.
I mean,
Well,
really, the whole thing. I guess like they're stuck in a hard place because it's like I assume the childhood friend comes back into play at some point, so they couldn't time skip like 400 years.
oh yeah.
I
You can't be like
guess.
some
You
Guilty Gear
can't
shit.
time skip. You
Essentially,
can't time skip
You
4
can't. Yeah, you
years and
can't
be
just
like,
time skip 4 years and be like,
the
oh
world
yes,
is
society has
devastated.
collapsed. Like,
got 'em, yeah.
I mean, that's supposedly the reason why they wrote it as it's a utopia. You don't have to do anything, but here, half the population suddenly died. We don't know how to fix this or cure a virus.
This
Like,
doesn't make.
that's
But if people already
really
didn't have to do anything, and it was a utopia, then it should still be
yeah,
business as usual.
yeah. It's like if mostly everything is run by machines, then machines should be able to repair themselves and fix everything. But no, some apparently the people who have jobs were actually more important than everyone else thought. And I'm like, oh, uh, okay,
Yeah, the
you wrote yourself
breadwinners.
to a hole here, and yeah, so yeah, there's 5 dudes, and the main character in quotes. I'm gonna call him main character in quotes because he doesn't really do anything. The story revolves around him, but he doesn't really do anything that would tickle the reader's fancy, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, so he's number 2 of 5, and they also brought up like the dude's kind of smart in some ways. So he's all like, if all the males are dying out and there's only a select number of males that are still active, and you're trying to rebuild the population, why don't you do artificial insemination or use frozen sperm? And they're like, oh, we tried, but it didn't work. And I'm
It's
like,
over,
oh,
why?
exactly why?
It just doesn't work.
Just
Okay,
They're
doesn't
too
work.
stupid.
just
They don't
Yeah,
understand
we
how to
tried,
do
but
it.
woman too stupid to understand how to do. Like,
Yeah,
oh, okay.
they're like, oh, it worked. I mean, it worked, but only the female babies survived. The male babies died within a few days.
what the.
What?
This is the worst fucking evolution ever.
Oh, so he has to
God
pass
damn
on
it!
his genes.
I didn't hear about this at the Smithsonian.
But also,
God damn
like,
it!
you know, that would imply that his cure was like gene therapy, and like just keep doing that then.
Yeah.
I think we're finding a lot of plot holes in the series about having sex.
It's supposed to be like, oh, it's transmitted in the air, and I mean, Dark got it right on the money, pretty much. That's what I thought, where because he was treated from cellular sclerosis, so they filled with his genes. That's how they made him immune to the MK virus. Because the other 5 people were put under cryosleep for the exact same treatment. So
Damn.
they're like evolved. So what? They're evolved high men, let's call them, instead of high human, high men. So they're immune to the virus. But
But
even
I
again,
mean,
well,
but it's like,
woman too stupid to look at
yeah.
the DNA and
Yeah.
figure out what's going on there.
but I mean, like, if it's gene therapy, if it has to do with gene therapy, and for the first male that woke up was just like the main character had the same gene therapy. Why wouldn't it have worked with artificial insemination? I don't know. I'm no. My field is not
Well,
artificial
okay. Look,
insemination or
let me
frozen
stop this.
sperm. So I
Let me
don't know how
stop
that
this because
worked,
it's
but
like
apparently it did.
look. I mean, like, I'm not saying that this is like a good story. Like, there's a reason why I keep like people. I think some of the listeners out there might be a little bit shocked whenever I'm just like, like these Japanese light novel writers aren't very smart. Like when I say these sorts of statements, right? And people think like I'm kind of being the bad cop, like, oh, you're just saying these sort of like shock jock kind of like shock jock kind of stuff. But really, like this is sort of the proof is in the pudding, right? In a sense, where these things are kind of being written. But That being said, I think this is not really. I mean, to be honest, I think the writer just wrote this bullshit because it's just like, oh, it's just some random theme that allows me to have 5 men and then like a billion girls in the harem and everything else. So I don't think that this uh, background, as much as it looks like it's the focus of the series, is not really the focus of the series in terms
But
of like
yeah,
its structure. Yeah. So the focus of the structure,
so
as far as I see it, is how the men's interaction, the men's introspection and interactions with one another and with the girls, right?
with
As
one,
well as Reito's
you say we
sort of
say
friendship,
with
right?
one another, right?
Right.
Well, don't you know they're constantly at odds with each other? I
Right.
mean, let's. I only watched like 3 episodes because I got bored of it real quick.
Uh-huh.
Also, I learned that I've watched only the second version of this series. There's 3 versions. Okay, so there's the TV broadcast one with your black filters and whatever, and then there's the second version that I watched, which is uncensored. All right, so let's say what there's the 21-minute live version, or no, it's a 23-minute. Okay, I watched a 23-minute version, but if you wait till March 26th, you get the Blu-rays are going to come out, and those come with forbidden scenes, and those are 26 minutes.
Wow.
So they broadcast the scenes too hot for TV, and I'm like, oh, should I have waited for that? Not maybe
No.
not, whatever. But yeah,
So
so
the
so far the series has like 3 males. Episode 1 was about Reiji, and he's all like, "Oh, the virus! Oh no!" But yeah,
viruses, they're rad.
but, so whatever the solution that the world's women have is like, oh, in order to save the world, you must procreate with the rest of the women. And
As you
Reiji's
do.
like, no, I don't want to.
Nope.
No.
Like
And
I'm trying to find that one girl, like my childhood friend Erisa, and
yeah.
they're like, okay, I guess. We'll
Sure.
try to find her, but for like under one condition. Every night, I'm going to send a new woman into your room. Can you resist temptation? And I'm like, oh,
Send the missile. Send the weapon in. But
yeah. I mean,
um,
his story arc is supposed to be like, oh, I have to dodge all the women coming after my semen, while also
No, I don't
try.
want to have sex. No,
No.
no, don't have sex with me,
wait, what was
please.
that? What was that? Fucking. What was that series where there's? It's like the apocalypse or whatever, right? And then there's like this one dude, and then there's like a bunch of like girls that are following him, like that are from experiments or whatever, right? Like, why do I fucking forget these names
I don't
these
know.
days? And it's like
I don't.
made by the same author that's like that did the one series with like the dude in like a mascot suit, and he like turns into like a mascot suit, right? And like the girl
Gleipnir?
climbs in. What?
Gleipnir?
Yeah, Gleipnir, and then it's made by the same
Okay,
guy
so it's
as
the
Gleipnir,
same
Sun Takeda-san,
author.
right? Yeah,
Okay.
Takeda-san. Who did this?
The
Fucking
Haruto Natsu author?
Yes, but he also did something else, right? Didn't he do?
I don't know. I only know
Uh,
Haruto Natsu.
Harjunatsu, Sekai no Hate, the Aimashou, and Aruite Ippo.
Did he not do another series? Fuck. Okay. Sorry for
All
distracting.
right,
But yeah,
so basically, his
yeah.
story arc is like, oh, we'll try to find that chick you like in, think, was it 2 months? 2 months. And in 2 months, Reito's all like, don't worry, it'll only take me 1 month to figure out a cure for the virus. So yeah,
Yeah,
he's
in
trying to.
2 months they're gonna find one woman amongst the billions, but they can't find more than 5 men in 500 million. Okay.
So yeah, so his story arc is try to fix the virus while dodging women from touching my wiener, and they're like whatever. That's his story arc. And then there's actually episode 2 was about this other dude. I think he's the first guy to awake, and he's just living his harem life. Good for him. He's all like, "Oh, I gotta procreate. Damn, I'm in." So that episode is just about him procreating with all the women. I'm like, I don't have any qualms about his way of life. It's just him mating with women. He's like, damn, this is the good life. And then there's the third main character, not even main character, the third male. He wakes up and he's but he's a little younger than the rest. So they're trying to ease him up into, saving the world.
Yeah, they're trying to groom him.
by
Jesus Christ.
kinda by putting him in a school setting. So now he's surrounded by these big titty onesans and older women who are like, "Oh, don't be afraid." And I'm like, "Damn, I guess if you're into that." So
So in terms of
if there's 5 men, so I guess 5 fetishes. There's the harem king, and then school life harem. And I'm like, okay, sure. That's about it. That's the series.
So you don't like the sort of, I mean, to kind of make it clear a little bit more about, so you don't like the sort of
I don't like the main. There's supposed to be the main story focused with Reito and I gotta find the cure. I don't. Who cares about that? No one.
yeah,
No one.
okay,
No one who reads this series cares about that. But
So
it's
you
like
don't
Also, it
you don't
literally can't go anywhere. Like,
so you're just like the author is trying to pretend like this series is a little bit more serious about like the main guy's like pure romantic love, when pretty much like anybody reading this series is just like, yeah, I just like want to see the different
yeah,
dudes in
yeah.
bed and stuff like
it's
that.
literally called World's End Harem.
No,
We
but his
we are
girlfriend, bro,
here
his
for a
girlfriend,
pretty obvious reason.
the girlfriend.
I
Yeah,
mean,
no, I understand.
if you're watching it for that sort of reason, then you obviously care more about the other 2 dudes, like
Yeah,
POV, and that's fine. Who are the voice actors in the series? I know Ayane Takatatsu's in it. Is that it?
And Taketatsu has a bunch of roles this season, if I remember correctly.
I
I think
I
even
don't
in
off the top of my head. I don't know, and who
it's
I
Shiraishi
don't know or
Haruka
care.
here. Taichi, that's not really much. Let's see. Let's see if I don't actually recognize that many names in here. Let's see this. Eguchi
Gee, I wonder
Takuya,
why.
Ishigami Shizuka. Ishigami Shizuka does a lot of like these smut roles. I'm not sure why.
Hell yeah.
Taketatsu Anna, Hayase Marika. Let's see this. Ida Riho. But yeah, there's a lot of kind of lesser known people in here. Takamori Natsumi, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What else? Visually, uh, hmm,
Okay.
well, I'm trying to see. I mean, is it okay if I compare it? Do I compare it to a hentai or do I compare it to an actual proper series? That's the question. The
I mean,
proper
it's
like
just
3-minute
it's a
one.
smut, isn't it?
It's a
Like,
smut series, yeah.
So far, yeah, but do we take into
So
do you,
account
far.
do you think it's going to
But who
elevate itself? Like,
knows?
do we have to take into account the extra 3-minute forbidden scene? Yes or no?
it's going to be more smut. Like, what do you mean? Like,
What if the audio visuals on those parts are above and beyond?
It might be. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, compared to like, well, let's just say that the tasty bits that were censored, that are uncensored, they're kind of lame, quality wise.
Not a
They're
big fan.
they're like kind of looks like the the B grade hentai like
I
level
understand what you're
of
trying to get at, yeah.
quality. Like when I'm looking at them boobies, it's like, oh, that's how they made the nips. Oh, okay, sure.
Okay.
It's just one color, sure. No gradient
They
or
need to add
shadowing
more
Wow,
details in
on
the
the
surprise,
nipples.
aerial.
surprise. Extremely glossy.
Oh,
Not even
Jesus.
it's not glossy or good shading. It's just one color. And I'm
Really,
like,
it's not like overly shiny. That's
no,
just
that's
really surprising.
It's a B grade. It's not even, Dark. You watch Ishizoku, right?
No, I've seen some of Ishizoku.
Have you seen the tasty bits?
Yes, which is what I would describe as overly fucking like shiny
That
and with
so it's flat. It's like flatter
bad
than that,
shading.
and it's like,
Damn.
oh, so it doesn't look that good. It's no Bunny Walker, that's for sure. No Bunny Walker. They make some tasty stuff. Like what? Let me pull up my list of Bunny Walker anime.
Okay, well.
Kyonyu Elf Oyaku Simon. Hell yeah.
Oh my god.
That's the good one. And JK Fuzoku Gakuensai. That's the good stuff. I'll recommend those. But yeah,
Okay, well, overall, I guess you weren't.
but yeah,
You weren't very impressed by World's End
I
Harem, essentially.
did you like when we were doing the previews? We were saying like, oh, I know what this is. It sucks. And yeah,
Yeah.
does it suck? Yeah, it sucks.
Okay, what would you rate it?
The opening kind of slaps though. Like the visuals suck on it, but this opening singer is kind of good, I guess.
Okay. The question I asked, what would you rate it?
Obviously 5 men out of 5 billion. 500 million.
Maybe I was gonna make a joke, 6.9 out of 10, but no, it's kind of boring. I mean, does it do what it set out to do in a good way? No, not at all.
Yeah, that's. I think that would be a major point.
Flimsy plot, boring protagonist. That's the limelight instead of the cool Sigma Chads that he has to hang out with.
Yeah.
The Sigma grindset who's off saving the world in real ways instead of him like, oh, I got 2 months to fix the virus, but I don't know where to start. Let's just say I skipped maybe 60 chapters of the manga. I'll just say that. I was like, whatever.
I don't blame you.
Near the end, let's just say Reito's arc is not really all that great. It's boring.
All right. Well,
Yes,
again.
I will rate it a 69 out of 10. Why not? Should you
All right,
watch it if you're looking for a harem fantasy isekai? No, hell no. This one's the premise is boring, the story's whack. Post apocalypse, they don't know how to write post apocalypse. On the other hand, though, World's End Harem Fantasia, that one's way better.
Okay.
So isekai harems is as lively as usual, I guess.
All right. Well.
Post apocalyptic harem, no.
All
If
right.
if you want a hentai, just watch real hentai. Check out Bunny Walker's stuff or Majin
I do.
Label, but only
I
Majin Label
do.
that's like when was it? When was Majin Label before 2010? I guess.
I do somewhat tentatively second Toast suggestion where if you're gonna kind of just try to scrounge around for a smut series with shitty plot to like this extent just to watch like the harem and the whatever, you might as well just go watch hentai at the end of the day, right? It's like whatever.
Let me rephrase that. Majin Label before Euphoria. When did Euphoria come out? Let me see. 2016. I guess Majin Label before 2015 because they got the good quality, but then it starts to drop after in the early 2020s.
All right. Well, anyways, the hentai talk aside, we should move on. Thank
Man,
you,
what
Toast.
series have I covered? This is
What
the
do you mean
third one, right?
aside, buddy?
This is
Yeah.
the third episode, right?
No,
Third or
second.
second?
No,
All right.
Second.
the second episode of the podcast. Yeah, of the
Man,
podcast. is
I'm 2 for 2 with bad series.
very
I
unfortunate.
mean,
but
I've
again,
been watching Lee and Dale. I like Lee and Dale, but am I gonna do it this early? No.
okay.
Let me
No,
let me
no,
get
that's fine.
let me get my crappy series out before I get to the good stuff.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, don't watch World's End Harem. Wait for the spin-off Fantasia instead. That's when we'll get to the good stuff.
Okay. Well, again, as Toast suggested, again, thank you for the review. Try to stay away from World's End Harem. Wait for the spinoff. Again, thank you, Toast, for helping to cover this. It was one of the bigger things coming out here, but
Really? Well, I
moving on.
mean, bigger things to who?
I
Like
mean, in
the
terms
pervert.
of, I mean, obviously
this
there's a
is
bunch of bigger sequels, but in
this
terms of
is
just like
supposedly
newer
a
series
big
names.
multimedia franchise. It's got a it's got a VR game, I think. Yeah, there's a VR game. Was there a DMM game? I don't know. It's got this, the what is it? World's End Harem Afterworld, which is I think a sequel. I don't know. I don't care enough to care.
Uh-huh.
And then there's World's End Fantasia, which is the spin-off. And then there's World's End some French name. I Lumiere Voltaire? No.
Yeah.
What is it? World's End Harem Britannia Lumiere. I guess spin-off of Code Geass? Sure, why not?
Spin-off of Code
I
Oh,
don't
World End
fucking know.
Fantasia is Code Geass collab. Anyways, yeah, but it is
Just
one of the bigger names of the season. So
bigger names to those who look for it. Bigger names to people who actually matter. No.
oh. Anyways, thank you, Toast. And moving on, we are going to go on ahead with Nier. What do you have for us?
So I watched what is this called? Koroshi Eye, which is localized as Love of Kill.
Classic localization title.
Yeah,
All
not
you
the
need is
most
kill.
not the most eloquent of titles, but
I haven't heard this sort of a localization title
job
in a
done.
couple years.
yeah. So this is a josei series apparently.
Huh.
I didn't
Really?
realize that when I was getting into it. Yeah.
Okay.
And this is done by Studio Platinum Vision.
Uh-huh.
Recently they've done what? Like they did Kono Oto Tomare.
Oh, that's weird. Okay.
They did Devil's Line, Servamp, and they I think most recently did Kaibyo Ramune. Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
What is that? Was that the one about the ramen?
No, that was like the weird like
You talk about Hakata Tonkotsu Ramen, right?
Yeah,
I
that
think.
one.
yeah. But Ramune was like the like occult doctor thing,
Was that
right?
the dude who lost an arm or
Oh,
something?
the thing is where it's like the time freeze or whatever. Is that what you're
I
talking about?
I think
No,
so.
Yeah, you-
With like
Ramune
a
is the one where
3D
the guy's like fucking dick turns into an Omaiba or whatever.
Oh, is it?
And the
Yeah,
person
Oh,
who
the
fries ketchup
supernatural
and
mystery.
mustard.
Oh, hell,
The
oh,
supernatural
yes.
mystery solver.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
But yeah. So yeah, it's that studio. But
there's a movie for Servamp? What?
I guess, yeah.
Wait, is this studio mostly BL?
I don't
I
know.
see Servamp is all dude, Devil's Line, all dudes, Kono the Tomare, all dudes,
I don't know if I'd really count it
Ramune,
as
mostly dudes,
BL, but
Koroshi Eye,
it
like
is
dudes.
more of a I guess female audience focused studio. No, I'm not sure, but
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, this series is a I don't know if I'd really consider it a romance, but romance is like I guess the goal. But yeah, so the basic premise is the main character, who's named Chateau Dankworth.
Nice.
Yeah, she is a bounty hunter, um, with a mysterious past, and she gets
Oh,
involved with a, I guess, assassin question mark mysterious individual who kills people. They haven't really said like what he does really, other than the fact that he's a he kills people. Um,
I
but
kill people.
his name's Ryangha Song. And
Okay.
he's a very mysterious man, and he has essentially, I guess,
There's a lot of
taken a
mystery in this
he's
series.
taken a fancy to the main character, and he like fucking follows her around and basically stalks her.
Ah,
You know,
nice.
as these
Cheater.
josei series do. Um, you know, the male lead is a very dangerous creep who you probably would not want to deal with ever in life.
To be fair, like there's a lot of like rom-com like standard like male main and then female like hero where it's like the female heroines are very like dangerous people if you think about them a little bit more
Yeah,
critically. Yeah, so I guess that's like this is like the Josie equivalent. So,
yeah. But yeah. So the main character basically follows her around, harasses her, stalks her,
mhm.
and then he starts sort of, I guess, trying to help her out with her work. You know, like catching uh, marks that she's after, stuff like that. Um, and they sort of get involved, and the main character Chateau gets sort of caught up in the underground mystery drama, you know, shenanigans that uh, Young Ha is, you know, sort of caught up in as well. And I guess they sort of bond question mark get closer in the process. Um, Again, this isn't really like it's not really a romance series.
When you're talking
Um,
about Bond, are you talking about um like Black Lagoon kind of like bonding kind of shit? Or what's
I
going on?
I guess so. So the main character is a very cold. She's a very cold lady, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't really want anything to do with Ryangha, and um, she's very like she doesn't really show her emotions at all. Uh, they go into her past a bit more, and like she's like adopted, and uh, her parents that adopted her were basically um like her dad was her adopted dad rather is a detective that basically had to work on a case that like uh I guess essentially the main character was found in a car uh with a dead person inside, and nobody knows like what the fuck was happening there. Like the case is completely cold. um and I guess she was like, you know, orphaned as a result of that, and the detective ended up adopting her, right? Um, so she's got a fucked up past, and because of that, she's like super cold, and obviously she doesn't really want anything to do with this like legitimate fucking psychopath that's like stalking her. You know, eventually they, you know, I guess by a circumstance and like his persistence, they like she, I guess, sort of gives
Warms
up
up to him.
and, you know,
Yeah.
starts conceding like small bits and pieces here and there, and you know they get quote unquote closer. Like they're still quite distant,
Mhm.
um, and the main character is sort of like telling herself that like, oh, this is like a business relationship kind of thing. Um, but you know, obviously this is a Josei series, so
Yeah,
they're gonna smooch at the end of it, obviously.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, the main like I guess focus of this series is sort of the drama, like bounty hunter, underworld, assassin stuff.
What do
And
you
a lot
mean
of it
by drama? When you say that, is it like Is it just like kind of like mystery episodic mystery kind of thing, or
Yeah,
are there
sort
mini
of.
arcs, or like what's going on here?
So the main story so far is largely about Yangha and his
Mhm.
past, and they haven't really delved into like what his motives are for really anything. Um, but he kills people, right? And
Yeah, just
the
kill for fun.
backstory that they've given him is that he used to be in a, I guess, like Korean mob kind of thing, and he was like a young upstart, and he got like pretty much to the top within a few years. And apparently, right when he was about to get like basically a leadership position, he killed everybody. Like he killed all the leaders,
Okay.
and he just like basically annihilated like this mafia family. And the story for like the first 4 episodes has been obviously introducing the characters, right, and it's the sort of dynamic between Yangha and Chateau, and along with that, getting them involved into this sort of uh, storyline where one of the former members of that like mafia gang sort of wants revenge against Yangha, and he uses like Chateau to get to him because he realizes that Yangha has a fancy for her, and he involves her, and essentially like they get involved with that. Um, but yeah, a lot of it's so when I went into this, I was sort of expecting like sort of comedy spy kind of stuff, but it's a pretty serious show. Um,
It's
like
like
it's
much more of a film noir kind of stuff, is what
yeah,
you're
a
saying.
little bit. It's got its comedy moments, and it's not like super serious. It's not trying to like present itself that it's like presenting this super deep story or anything.
What sort
But
of comedy is it? Sorry, is it like a banter dialogue, or is it slapstick, or what's going on?
um, so it's sort of slapstick. I mean, a lot of it's kind of like so. There's a bit where um after like Bianca helps out Chateau with like a mark, she's like driving back and she gets attacked by like the former mafia dude, right?
Mhm.
And she ends up getting into a car crash, and uh like she almost dies basically. And
Right.
Bianca finds her and like takes her to like this hotel and like nurses her back to health. And like the morning after, um he tells her to take a shower, and then she dies, and then she comes back and finds that like her clothes are gone. And he comes back and he's like, oh, I was just watching them. And then it's sort of like banter between them back and forth like that. It's sort of just like I guess sort of what you'd expect from a like rom-commy type like banter, but
Mhm.
like they're pretty sparse, those interactions. They're pretty few and far
Oh,
between.
okay, okay.
So it's not really the main focus, but there are elements of that there. But yeah, for the most part, it's a lot of like uh, you know, the sort of um the underworld stuff, you know,
Okay.
uh Dangha being sort of persistent in wanting to like get to know her and stuff like that, and her just being like, no, I don't really want to do that. You know what I mean? Um, but it's not bad. It's a little bit awkward, um, just because it's like a one party like pursuit kind of thing. You know what I mean? And
What do you mean by that, actually?
because Ryangha is like the only one that's like I want to get to know her, and she's kind of like
Oh,
stonewalling him
it's a
like as much as
one-sided. It's a
possible.
one-sided.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
a
like a
one-sided affair.
one-sided thing, and
Yeah.
so some of the interactions can be like a little bit awkward, but I think it's intentionally written like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, so I guess if you're not into that, you might be off put. But I thought the interactions were okay. The story is like it's a little generic, but like again, they're not trying to like. To me, the series doesn't feel like it's trying to like do like this super gritty like film noir like yeah like this is deep shit, bro. Like it's sort of
Do you
just
think
like
that? Do,
presenting.
do you think the balance is good then? Because it's like obviously with a lot of these, it's like again, it's better to not sort of commit so hard to that serious stuff if you're not going to be good with it, right? Is what I always say. It's like if you're going to do the serious stuff, you have to be real good at it, and if you're going to commit to it, you can't half-ass it, right? Like
Um,
whatever thing that you're, but this whole balance of like, okay, this sort of like more like drama, murder mystery or general mystery of the underground thing going on, plus a little bit of the sort of comedic tinge at the side. Do you think the balance is good?
I think
You-
I think it's the balance is a little bit skewed more towards the underground stuff, like I was saying. But again, I think the fact that it doesn't take itself like the fact that the comedy bits are there, I think does definitely help uh alleviate the fact of like, you know, and it doesn't present itself as like edgy, if you know what I mean. Because like people do
No,
die,
yeah.
like people do die in the series, and it's definitely not afraid to like be like, yeah, like these characters are like their job is to kill people, right? Like they kill people,
Mhm.
and it's definitely not shy of being like, yeah, like they're just killing people, but it doesn't present it in like a glorified manner. You know what I mean? Like when someone gets shot, it's not like their head is exploding and it's like there's gore everywhere. It's just like yeah, like there's blood and this person's dead now.
Right.
But it's not like
It's not Mortal Kombat, yeah.
yeah, it's not like it's not trying to be edgy.
Right.
It's sort of like it's tasteful, I guess is the word for it.
It's clean. It's clean.
Yeah.
It's not like
Um,
bam.
It's
yeah,
cinematic. You're saying?
yeah. Which is good. But yeah, I think the balance is a bit more skewed towards the like the underworld stuff, but it is like um it's a bit more tongue in cheek, I guess.
Mhm.
Which helps. Uh, it prevents it from being like you know eye rolling, I guess. Because a lot of these series are like you know when you're dealing with stuff like assassins and bounty hunters and whatnot,
Right.
a lot of writers will try to be like they'll try to go as gritty as possible and you know to
I'm
like
the secret
the
assassin who
the
lost my
the cities in
family.
Japan are full of garbage and homeless people and
Yeah.
criminals, and it's like
Yeah.
the series isn't really like that. It's just sort of like
I'm just a result of the environment or whatever it
yeah,
is.
And
It's,
or
if Japanese people think Japan is full of gritty, dirty people and homeless,
are we trying this is this
yeah,
commentary?
but
Wait until you see, boss.
yeah, a lot of it is just treated as like it's a job to them. You know what I mean?
uh,
Which is fine.
why
But
does
yeah,
Japan have so many cleaners in quotes? They have one of the nicest cities around.
um,
That's why. They gotta
yeah,
keep it up.
gotta keep it clean. But
Like, what would you consider Japan's seediest city? Akihabara, maybe? Roppongi?
no, Akihabara
That's
is
it?
just a tourist trap. It's not that seedy. I mean, seedy is like
You want seedy, just go to any major metropolitan area, and there you go. Over
What's the
here.
place everyone goes to have like fucking meltdowns?
Shibuya? Isn't it Shibuya?
Aokigahara?
probably Shibuya. But yeah, um, yeah. Overall, I think this is a pretty alright show. It definitely like. So I don't like consume that much josei series. Uh, believe it or
Why?
not. Um,
Why?
I don't know. I just maybe I'm just not the target demographic. I don't know. But
But what about Vanitas? There's so many big names on that series.
yeah,
Come on.
yeah. I mean, this series definitely uh like so I'm not a josei expert, but it definitely it's got like those like you can see the fact that this is like a show targeted at girls.
Mhm.
It's not like super overbearing. There's no shirtless man. Um,
Damn. I'm
like
out.
there's no like you know like
It's not.
he's not like constantly like touching her and trying to like get her to moan and stuff like that. It's very like it is a very like cold relationship
Oh,
so far,
that's Josei
but
stuff? Ugh.
I mean, yeah, but like the fact that it's like the fact that the male lead is like a fucking psycho stalker, and like the series isn't treating him as like, you know, a psycho stalker. It's sort of treating him as like, you know, the main character. Um, I think is somewhat typical of a Josei series. You know, not to say anything, but you know how they are. Um, but yeah, it's not like uh super overbearing, which is nice. But there's definitely like you can feel the influence, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, overall, I think it's pretty all right. It's not like it's a bit of a tricky show to recommend because again, it definitely it's not like because I feel like a lot of these like these assassin bounty hunter shows they do attract like the people that like these like super edgy like gritty shows. But this isn't really it, right? And uh, I'm not really sure like what the audience is here outside of like the people that watch Josei stuff on the norm. Um, because again, like the romance stuff isn't super apparent. The assassin stuff is like it's there, but it's like it's not what you usually get. Um, but I think overall it's pretty solid. It's not the greatest thing, um, but it's pretty all right. You know,
Okay, pretty good.
What series is it better than and worse than?
I don't know. I don't even know what to compare this to. Is the thing.
Compared to the other Kill series.
What do you mean? What do you mean the other kill? Like
Kill
Kill
la
Kill?
Kill.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What do you mean the
Um,
other Kill series? I can't get Kill?
Yeah, where does it
Oh,
stack up
Comic
to a
Kill.
comic kill a kill? All you need is kill.
Yeah.
well, all you
Kill
need
me,
is kill.
baby.
Well, all you need is
Yeah.
kill. Never got an anime, so that's already worse,
But
right?
it got it. No, but it
Got a
got a
movie with
manga.
Tom
But
Cruise though.
Yeah, but it wasn't called All You Need Is Kill, so it doesn't count. Um,
Yeah, but at
yeah.
one point in the movie, Tom Cruise looks at the camera and says, "Wait a minute, all you need is kill."
All you need is kill. TM.
Oh,
man,
Jesus.
I love title drops in movies, no matter how cheesy they are.
Anyways,
That actually
but
that does not happen. I want to put a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
disclaimer
I know.
I know. I wish it did.
Yeah, the movie would
anyways,
definitely be better for it, but
You know, in Monster Hunter, they never call them monsters or hunt. They only call or hunters. Maybe hunter, but never monsters. I feel gypped.
thank you, Nier,
What's your rating,
for
Nier?
yeah. What's
Um,
what's your mal rating?
yeah, you have to do the stack up. We already named the
well,
series. Put
I
them in
mean,
order. Let's go.
is this my rating or like my mal rating? Where a 7 is like god tier. Like,
Yes.
okay. Um, I give it like a 6.5. I think it's pretty good.
Wow, lower than my rating of World's End Harem, huh?
Yeah, well, your ratings are like, yeah, this show is dog shit. I hate it. 9 out of 10. So
I mean, I that is true for Last
Well,
Encore.
no, like his ratings are basically like the actual like mall ratings, where it's like a decent show could be a 6, or a good show could be a 6. A really good, an amazing show could be a 7, but like an okay show could also be a 7. If it's below 6, it's fucking awful. And if it's
yeah.
like above 7, it's like a Demon Slayer or something. Like it's one of the most popular shows
It's
ever
like a
fucking
very
made.
like narrow band, and then outside of it are like mega outliers.
yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like if when you reach 9.0, it's like only Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood specifically.
Or somebody's just like pumping the numbers.
Yeah,
or
like you don't really hit that. So
Let me see. Unlimited
Anyways.
Blade Works is only an 8.
Yeah, exactly.
This review contains minor spoilers. This is the most overrated anime I have ever seen. If one is expecting a grand follow-up to Fate Zero, one is gravely mistaken. Excuse me?
Yeah.
What is
Anyways,
Fate Zero's rating?
let's
see.
move on from Mal reviews. Thank you,
8.3. Wow. Barely higher.
All right. It's time to stop. So, thank you, Nier, for helping to cover Koroshi, right? And I believe again, the
You
localized
want
title
Nier?
is.
I'll say you've made me want to check it out.
That's good, at least. It is Love of Kill. Yes, and if you do want to
Shouldn't
see a little bit more uncommon, I
you
guess,
know?
structure of.
It's
Yep.
called Love of Kill. Shouldn't it be Killing Love or something? Try to make it more American sounding. No,
No, they
that's
love to kill.
Yeah, I think it's already
Yeah.
American enough.
Yeah.
Well,
Hell yeah, brother.
anyways, again, thank you, Nier, for helping to cover Koroshi. And with that, we are moving on to our final review with Dark. What do you have for us?
Wow, I have a very little
save us.
known series. Um,
Ah,
I have Sono
yes!
Bisque.
Yes! Yes!
You may have heard of it.
Oh, God. This is.
Yeah, this series, this series ain't so great, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
I don't want to sound too hipster, but I just want to say I got on before the bandwagon happened. This is one of the series that I do
well,
want
it's
to say
okay
that.
because everyone who talks about this series is a fucking moron, okay? I'm throwing that out there. I'm throwing down the gauntlet.
Wait, what happened?
Alright?
Are people trashing on it? What's happening? I
No,
haven't
it's
actually
not that
been
they're
in too
trashing
much
on it. It's
news.
just that they're focusing on the wrong thing. They're basically like, everywhere I see, it's like everyone's like, "Oh, this series is so it's so horny," and it's like you can find a dime a dozen
That's
horny
because
series
of
that's
the
out there.
memes. Oh
That's
my
not
god.
what makes it special.
Yeah.
Like what makes
It's
it
not
special
because
is the fact that it can be so horny yet like feel and present itself as being extremely wholesome.
also I want to just take a time out. I think honestly, like
Wait,
90%
people
of the
thought
people
this
who are
series
like
was horny? Damn, they
the
I
reason
mean, it
Yeah,
I
dude.
think
is.
90
She's
I
in
think
her underwear,
90
bro.
to okay,
No,
I want to say
it
like
it's a
is. Like,
swimsuit, bro.
I think 90% of the reason why people are really like focusing on that and being like, oh, this is just about like the Ecchi stuff is honestly because of like the fact that like there are so many people and like channels on social media. Like for instance, like these anime clip channels on YouTube these days, right? Where it's like all they clip are like the sort of like etchy scenes, right? Of like different anime, like rom-com or like harem or like whatever, like except for Dress Up Darling.
yeah, and then a bunch
Like
of fucking
that's like
mouth breathing, chest beating, fucking like apes view this fucking video.
yeah.
Go,
Like there are
oh,
like 800,000 views, and like at the title of the
I
YouTube,
love anime.
yeah, and the title of the anime clip, or for like My Dress Up Darling, like one clip is like she pulls up her panties in front of him or something like that, right? It's like that's all they see, like on social
Yeah,
media, and
fucking
that's
average anime fan falling for literal
like the
like
most like
finger
20
family level fucking
yeah,
like view
green eggs and
baiting.
ham level of smut, yeah.
No, I mean not even like green
But-
eggs and ham. Like I wouldn't even call it that. It's like YouTube fucking algorithm abusing like
yeah,
bot farm like animation
Russian,
farm
yeah.
from fucking like yeah from like Russia and India that pump out like these fucking insane videos that mean nothing.
Yeah, and then you know how like at the end of them they're always like trying to sell anime T-shirts or whatever it is, like that shit.
Yeah,
Um,
go to fucking like like this Redbubble selling like
yeah,
selling a T-shirt that has like the fucking manga cover on the front of it
yeah,
without even
exactly,
like
exactly.
not even taking out like the volume number
Yeah, exactly.
off of the fucking page.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think honestly most of the people that are reacting that way are like the same people that are like watching those like anime clips on like on Twitter on YouTube being like, oh, all that happens in this anime are those sorts of scenes where she's taking on the cosplay or
Yeah,
pulling down his
yeah.
panties or
It's just like
whatever it is.
people drumming it up to that, and then they're just like, but I mean, also again, like even worse, like people who are either watching the series or like fully watch it, but then like their discourse around it is just that this
Yeah.
basic fucking like, oh, I'd have Ecchi scene, and it's like it's like I hate you so
So much.
like so deeply. Like a bit more than anyone else, like more than the people that just watch the clips.
Pretty much.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
they are good clips though. Just saying.
yeah,
But that's mostly because this series is pretty well animated.
yeah. So sure, transition right into audio visuals. Cloverworks is doing a hell of a job here.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
Cloverworks usually doesn't disappoint on like a standard basis. So
yeah, I
Name
mean
one series that
these are
disappointed.
really, really, really good
also,
audio
if they
visuals.
disappointed with Bisque, they would be getting a lot of hate mail. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like,
Um, so that's definitely one of the things
yeah.
that it's got going for it. It has really, really good audio visuals. Its soundtrack is very fun. Has a very good OP and ED. Especially the ED. I like the ED a lot. Um, yeah, so that's pretty much enough about audio visuals. Like, there's really not much to say. Like, it's very well animated and like, it's like smuttier scenes. It's very well animated and it's like scenes where Gojo is crafting, like crafting. And he's like sewing like the clothes together and everything. I should probably say what the series is at some point. So the synopsis
What is
is
a Biscuit-doll?
so traumatized by a childhood incident with a friend, Gojo, our main male protagonist, kind of keeps to himself and keeps his hobby to himself. Actually, not even his hobby, his career path essentially is to be making traditional Japanese dolls.
Mhm.
Um, and so his grandfather owns a shop, and his trauma from childhood was just that like a girl called him like weird for liking that. And so he gradually just became sort of like obsessed with them. But currently, he's not very good at making the faces or anything like that. He's only good at doing the clothes. And so that's kind of where he meets, kind of like sort of the stepping stone for how he meets Marin, because he overhears her talking in class at one point of some guy who shit talked her like anime. What do you call those? Like the rubber keychains. Um, and so very on the nose, but drops a line of essentially like, like why would you mock something to my face that I clearly like?
Right.
Um, and so like that's kind of where it goes off of. They more meet in full when she catches him like sewing clothes for the dolls, like after school with a newer sewing machine.
Mm.
Um, and then he just basically off of that agrees like to make her a cosplay outfit because the one she tried doing was so horrendously bad. Um, but yeah, it's got a lot of really cute, really cute moments. It's very cozy in that. Um, yeah, it's just like the sort of like character reactions of both characters really play off of each other really well. Especially in like the looter scenes, they both play off of each other very
Mhm.
nicely. I think it keeps the comedy mixed in very well. I think it balances it very nicely. I think
Yeah.
that's one of the things in those scenes that they do very well, because it's not really like I don't know how to describe it really, because it's not. I feel like
So the way like
most
my analogy for it would be like this would seem very weird, but it's like how to do you guys know have you guys all tasted like castella cake before? Like that like sort of like spongy like cake kind of thing? Have you guys all
yeah, I'm not a millionaire. Sorry, buddy.
like a very like angel cake kind of stuff, like angel cake ish? Have you guys have tasted that sort before, right?
Spire,
Like
are you talking
Yeah.
about pound cake?
no, pound cake is like thicker than like
I like
Yeah.
castella.
pound
It's
cake.
more like it's
Sara
like
Lee pound cake?
angel
Hell
food
yeah.
cake. You guys have eaten like angel food cake, like souffle types kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's
So,
like
wow, look at this
Spire,
guy
I've
eating
only
souffle.
consumed Betty Crocker cake mix.
yeah, many
Yeah,
I've only consumed Twinkies, but yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Sorry,
So
my
the
palate's not as refined as you.
I apologize, but so the way I would describe it is like the comedy is like on the outside it seems cheesy, but it's like the way that it's displayed, it's very like smooth. It's like the author is clearly not trying to push the comedy too hard, where
Yeah,
it's like
it's not.
oh I'm doing like oh like stuff that's like cheesy, like almost like dad joke level humor. But it's not like trying to push it too hard. It's not like, oh, this is the humor. You gotta fucking laugh. It's like, oh, they're just kind of getting along as like regular
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
So
The
it's like that
balance.
where it's like
Yeah,
you're eating that sort of like it's like a soft like cake. You're not like, oh, there's fucking like sugar and like cheese and there's like everything like laugh. It's like all this stuff that it's like very smooth. It's clean. It's like it's kind of like, oh, this is there if you want it, but it's not like pushing it onto you,
See,
essentially.
yeah, and it's also very. It's. I would say it's used in a very like strategic manner for like scenes,
Mhm.
especially the looter scenes. It's like,
Kind
we're
of
gonna
relaxed,
start
yeah.
off and it's gonna be like a lewd scenario. Then we're gonna do like a little bit of like comedy. Uh, then we're gonna bounce back and then we're gonna be done. And that's it. Like
Right.
it's not like a usual like ecchi throwing fucking like a 2 minute scene at you that's just constant, or like actually even more like a 4 minute or 5 minute fucking scene where it's like constant like sort of like slapstick comedy, and that's like the one beat it's got.
Mhm.
A lot of it turns into comedy based on like the characters playing off each other. There's a dressing room scene that was done really well, um, that I thought was had comedy done very well. There's the um, there's I'll just call it the research scene
Mhm.
where Gojo plays the eroge, that
Oh
I
yeah,
thought
okay.
was very fucking funny. Um, and I thought the pacing on that was really good. So I think overall, like that, those sorts of parts of it too set it apart for me. Like those scenes.
what's the quote again? It's not horny for your wiener. It's horny for your heart. Something like
What?
that.
What?
What?
Sure.
I mean, if you're going into this series thinking, well, just watch some real hentai, you weirdo.
Go watch World's
Yeah,
End Harem.
like that's the thing. Like this series really isn't like
It's essentially just a shoujo
I don't know.
series, right? It's like
Yeah, like it
for the most
has
part.
like obviously like it has etchy scenes, but I don't know. It's there's something about the way it's presented and like the lens through you view it
Mhm.
too, especially with Gojo's like reactions and playing off of it. I think are pretty nice. I think also making him a more level-headed protagonist kind of helps that too, where
Mhm.
like obviously he reacts to certain things she does, especially like airhead moments and shit like that. Or not even just airhead, like just more like comfort essentially, like and not really thinking anything of it.
Mhm.
Um, but I feel like it's more the way they play off of each other is like very toned down in a lot of ways. It's not
Yeah, as I
super
said
in your
before, it's like
face. Like,
it's similar with the comedy, and like it's the general tone of the series. It's not like, oh, we're doing rom-com, like I'm gonna pretend to be a cute like innocent girl like Gato whatever like general innocent girl, but then I'm gonna do cosplay. I'm gonna transform. I'm gonna look so sexy, and then you're gonna be like, oh no, she's being too sexy, and like that whole like skit that some of the I guess faster paced rom-coms do sometimes, right? And it's like
yeah,
it's not repeating that sort of comedic formula and be like, hey, look, she's suddenly too sexy, and then the guy's being shy. Like it's not trying to roll that shtick so much. It's kind of like, oh, like we're generally kind of existing. Like these are characters and they kind of float in this space. Yeah.
yeah,
The
and I
intent
like,
between these scenes is much different from that of other series that it's been
yeah,
compared to.
yeah, definitely, and yeah, I think that's definitely a good point too. Is the intent of it like what you're trying essentially to get out of these scenes and what these scenes are trying to do, where it's more like actually setting up. In
Wow,
some ways,
good
it's setting
world
up a
building.
relationship. In other ways, it's more like character development, like character establishment with sort of both characters' barriers, you could say, or their
Mm.
limits, essentially. Um, and yeah, I think overall all that kind of comes together to just create like two characters that are just extremely enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, I definitely agree. In terms of, I guess, I think we've gone over this, but in terms of how do I say this? Um, well, I guess first of all, the anime is pretty much just a straight adaptation of the manga, right? Would you agree with that?
I don't read, so sure.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, okay, all right.
Wow, Spy, why do you think everyone reads the manga? No one has that much time in their life to read all the manga in the world.
Have you seen these frames? Why would I look at only one?
Oh, by the way, this talk about Beastars reminds me. So the voice actress for Kitagawa Marin is Sugata Hina,
Amelie,
and uh, is Sugata
Shut
Hina,
up.
and she does the voice for Marin as well as Kirigae Toko, who is sort of like a ghetto guitarist in Bang Dream, Bandori. And the interesting thing is, so these are both like ghetto roles, and like one's like both of them are relatively like kind of outgoing, right? Apparently, Sugata herself is pretty much just like a country girl, and she's like never gone to like Shibuya or like Shinjuku or
that
like
sounds about
anywhere.
right.
Like,
Most Gyaru archetypes are, oh, I saw this and I read this in a magazine. I'm gonna try it out when I go to the city, and I'm like, oh, cool.
but
Is
yeah,
she your new favorite Gyaru Spire? Is that why you brought it up?
Marin.
Yeah.
I mean,
She's
I
the only
don't
one that should
necessarily.
exist, buddy.
The only Garu that should ever exist. Yeah. Uh, I'm not. I don't really have a Garu fetish. I
I
mean,
mean,
I'm okay with Garus.
that's
It's
an
like,
obvious lie. What about the pink?
Yeah,
What about?
what? What does that mean?
I mean, he's not wrong. Think about your IMAS pick.
Yeah, Spire.
Kinda, is it a
The
what?
pink haired girl, isn't she your favorite? You
No,
ranked her
my
above
Yeah,
favorite is
Shibuya.
yeah, and her sister. Don't
and the
Yeah.
lie.
sister, but yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
Jogasaki
You put her
sister.
you're
on the
not
same
you're
level
not
as Shibuya
wiggling
Rin,
your
man.
way out of this one, buddy.
I apologize. I actually like secretly like the Jogasaki sisters. But
No
yeah, anyway.
secret.
It's no secret.
Let me
It's
see.
not a
Okay.
Let me
secret.
see. Well, let me look in
It's a
Discord
public.
real quick.
It's public data. Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah,
uh,
Let me
from Spire.
Dark. Any last words?
Shogasaki.
Um,
Any last?
yeah,
All
I'm
right.
trying to
Well,
think. I definitely had other points to make, I guess. Yeah, like I said, I would like the discourse to sort of like change around the series to reflect more of the balance of the series, making it and the pacing being what makes it way more special than just like here's a fucking well animated clip of the ecchi scene. Like, and people just fucking drooling over that. Um, but yeah, I think a lot of yeah, in general, I think a lot of the discourse around the series, and I think even the synopsis on Ball like fucking betrays what the series actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah, I don't know. I would just like it for the like I would like that to be more of the focus. I would like sort of the natural interactions between the two characters be more of the focus instead of drumming essentially the discourse around it, like we were saying before, reflecting like a series, like a dime a dozen, like ecchi series, you could see someone compare it to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going similar way to because like recently we're how do I say this? I mean, it's obvious with pretty much anything in social media, but it's always people always take it to extremes, right? There's no like middle ground or like nothing can have like a little bit of like etchy sometimes, but then some romance or like a decent amount of etchy stuff and then some romance. Like you can never have these nuances. It's always just like it has to be so pure. Oh my god, this scene is so precious or whatever, blah blah blah, and it has to be like that, like super pure and blah 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 blah, or it has to be always like etchy and it's like, oh my god, this is so like, is this what you guys are watching it for? Blah blah blah. And it's unfortunate that this stall has been kind of shunted to sort of the etchy side in a sense. But
Also, the
it's
fact that the series also has an extreme amount of like fucking traditional doll and also cosplay like trivia throughout it. So
yeah.
there's that too. Like,
But it is unfortunate, I think. And a lot of people, again, kind of commenting on these sorts of things and having, talking on Sakuga Twitter, the Sakuga community, as I
So
like to
wait,
call it.
they put the scenes on Sakuga? Nice.
wait a minute, wait a minute. Mr.
No, no.
Sakuga worked on this?
I just refer to like the people who comment a lot on anime Twitter generally as like, the those like anime Sakuga Twitter people, right?
Yeah, the
They're
type of
always
person who would ask, who is Kino Sakuga?
yeah. Those
And
people are
how
always
do they
Who's
make
out
such good anime?
does Etano really have a circus?
But
Like,
those
yeah.
people will always be out for blood and trying to kind of shout one thing to another. But anyways, thank you, Dark, for helping to kind of clear the
So
air.
you're
And
saying you're saying this series sucks, huh, Dark?
yeah,
Yeah, series is
it's Becky.
awful. You should
Yeah.
never watch it. Dime a dozen etchy, obviously.
So I have a question. Um, During the previews, I got the general impression that this series follows more or less. I don't know if you guys watched the show, but I covered it. More or less the same, like I guess, formula as Runway de Warate, where
Okay.
the I guess main character, the male lead or whatever, is sort of um pulled around and uh you know I guess caught up in the I guess outgoingness of female lead, and you know obviously both series have like the main character, like the male lead, like making outfits for the female lead, right?
Mhm.
But is it sort of like the same idea where the male lead is sort of um pulled along by the the I guess outgoing nature of the female lead kind of thing.
Yeah.
So what I would say is that there's a little bit of the structure is essentially the same, but the difference comes mainly in like the focus on the interactions, the level of interaction, or not. I don't want to say sort of almost harmful phrase like level of interaction because that makes it seem like one or the other is like kind of
Yeah.
bad in dealing with that. The way I want to say it is like with Rome de Varete is a little bit more. Again, I want to be very careful. I don't
Well,
necessarily
was
mean.
Runway because like this is more of Gojo like sort of this being a stepping stone of him like coming out of his shell and sort of realizing, overcoming that like trauma of, realizing that like not like by and large people aren't going to come after you, especially in this sort of space that you're in because
Yeah,
of like
I
something
mean the
that you
bigger,
enjoy.
yeah. So I think the bigger thing is like Runway de Arte is a little bit more. It isolates the characters' goals a little bit more and focuses on like the goals and the industry that they're in and stuff like that. Where it's like they're constantly in contact with the like other characters, and the other characters aren't really getting that much fleshed out, and they're kind of like informing the character like this is what the industry is about. Like these are the hurdles, and they're kind of going through that, and they're kind of going through a lot more introspection. Now,
Yeah.
Beastall goes through a lot of that introspection and it has a trivia and stuff like that. But I think the focus is a little bit more on like specific like their character development. You know what I mean? Where it's like they're like always kind of like talking a little bit more about their feelings and doing like kind of like interaction between Marin and Gojo and how they kind of evolve with each other and maybe fall in love with each other or whatever it is, right? So it's a little bit more of that vanilla kind of romance kind of thing that kind of pulls it in. Maybe you could call it a little bit more mainstream, whatever you want to say, right? But it's a little bit more of that romance formula. It's a little bit more of that character interaction, like development, versus Romeo de Warate is a little bit more on like character growth within themselves with regards to like the industry, with regards to the theme, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little bit more isolated in Romeo de Duarte. They come together a little bit more, and they're a little bit more on the romance comedy path
Okay.
in Pistol. So that's at least how I view it.
I
But yeah,
can't believe this is how you do the real teasing anime correctly.
yeah. Anyways, I thank you very much, Stark, for helping to cover my dress up darling, also known in Japanese as um, sorry, Sono Bisque doru wa koi o suru, or
Yeah,
the
my
Bis.
cosplay girlfriend.
Yeah, my cosplay girlfriend. Yeah, the Beast doll that fell in love, or Sono Kisekai, Sono Kisekai Ningyo. Sono Kisekai Ningyo wa koi o suru. So yeah, please do check this out. It is a manga original as well. I believe again the anime should be a straight adaptation of the manga. So whichever format you want to check it out, please do so.
Yeah, I'm just saying
And
like one has more frames and colors, so like
yeah, the
and the
other one
pictures
doesn't
move.
move. Like
The
what the
pictures
fuck?
move on this one, so like you should really weigh that when you make a decision.
All right. Anyways, thank you, Dark, again. And we are going to move on to the news. So, not too much news these past couple of weeks. I mean, for the most part, we won't really go over the again. We haven't been going over COVID related news for the most part, but essentially in these past 2 weeks, like everybody's been getting COVID. If you just look down the news, like freaking every other voice actor or like director or whoever, they've been getting COVID, and it's it might be because of Omicron, it might be because of Japan maybe fucked up some the regulations, whatever it is, the rollouts, but it's been bad. A lot of people have
I
been
what
getting it.
is what Aspire, I feel left out. When is one of us gonna get it?
I, I think we should keep feeling left out for as long as possible. I hope we feel as left out of that sort of thing as long as we continue to uh, you know be out there. But anyways, moving on to the news. Unfortunately, and I say unfortunately in a very emphatic manner, we have a couple of NFT related news.
When's
First,
Spire? When's our NFT? You gonna? When are we
I don't
release?
want to think about
When's the
that future.
podcast NFT?
I
We're
don't
gonna
want to
get it
think
on
about
that.
that future.
When are we releasing the apes?
Yeah, the planet of the NFTs. You mean?
When you think about it, our logo could be an NFT.
Oh,
Yeah, that's true. We could go back to the old one and steal that art, and it would be very fitting for an NFT.
Anyways, the anime studio Fanworks, who are behind stuff like Agretzko, and as well as the online pop culture commerce company, pop culture commerce. What the fuck? Tokyo Otaku, is that what they call themselves? Tokyo, the online pop culture commerce company, Tokyo Otaku. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Startup incubator platform Tsukuria, and digital content company The Battle announced on Monday that they are planning on anime of the Crypto Ninja non-fungible token or NFT project. The initiative is launching with an anime promotional video by Fanworks, but the companies are aiming to produce a full-fledged anime. Investor Ikehaya produced the Crypto Ninja NFT project last year with illustrations by Ritsu, I guess is how you say it, linked to digital tokens. Fanworks reports Crypto Ninja is Japan's most active NFT project with 159 Ether, about 50 million yen, or about 430 US dollars as of Monday, earned from a community of under 10,000 fans and creators. By the way, just warning you guys, Japan is very, very much into NFTs. They are extremely into NFTs, and you might be hearing a little bit more of these sorts of news in the future. We on the podcast personally do not endorse NFTs of any sort, but you guys will be hearing a lot more of these probably in the news, going forward. So, just a heads up. Next piece of news. Toei Animation announced on Tuesday that it will produce an anime based on the NFT art collection of 9-year-old boy artist.
I saw this.
What
These are so fucking
this?
ugly, bro. These are just.
Are these like MS Paint?
I mean, I respect the hustle. That's all.
Yeah. Toast has the right attitude. You should get with Toast. I respect the hustle. Yeah. Anyways,
I mean that. I mean,
yeah. But the problem is that I don't respect. We don't respect the hustle.
Toei Animation.
How old is it?
Can I unveil the quote unquote? Why is unveil?
Dude, he's 9 years old. I respect this hustle. He's getting all the money from these idiots.
Yeah, that's true. Toei Animation plans to unveil the project this spring. Zookeeper created the art collection Zombie Zoo as his research project. Research project? What does that mean? He's 9 years old. During his summer vacation last year, with the help of his mother, artist Kusana. His mother. Okay. He started selling the pixel art as NFTs, and celebrities such as Steve Aoki bought the
Steve Aoki! Oh my god!
Wow.
Oh boy! When I think of Japanese artists, I think of Steve Aoki.
Toei Animation stated that this is the first project in a plan to expand its NFT initiatives that will quote unquote partner with creators to develop animation franchises based off NFT artwork. All right. Anyways, next.
You could not do that thing.
You could maybe not do stuff like that.
I mean, I respect the hustle of this 9-year-old kid, but not Toei. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Next.
Yeah. Fucking worst DOS game art I've ever seen.
MS Paint, yeah, full. The VFX Japan Awards announced this year's nominees for its best award for each of its 7 categories on January 31st. The live-action Promised Neverland. I keep forgetting that the Promised Neverland got live action.
Yeah, buddy.
Didn't people say, "Oh, no Neverland's the greatest thing ever," and then they cooled off really quick on it?
Yeah, because the second season was
'cause
garbage because
the
they
second
skipped
season-
over.
Yeah.
They skipped over like 3 arcs. Like,
yeah, they were like, okay, well, see ya.
Anyways,
4 years of content gone.
The live action The Promised Neverland, Rurouni Kenshin Saishusho, the final, and Rurouni Kenshin Saishusho, the beginning. Sorry, tongue twisters. Beginning films are nominated in the live action theatrical film category. The films nominated in the animated theatrical film category include Pupil of Chimney Town, Earwig and the Witch, Evangelion 3.0 Post 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time, and Belle. Additionally, the first season of the live-action Alice in Borderland series is nominated in the television distribution program VFX category. The Godzilla Singular Point, the Red Sand Godzilla, right? Anime is nominated in the television distribution program anime CG category. And the Star Wars Vision shorts, The Duel and The Ninth Jedi, are nominated in the short film category. The VFX Japan Awards recognize creations in live-action film, video games, commercials, animated film, television, and events that excel in the use of CG and VFX. This year's award ceremony will be held in early March. All right, so that's that. Again, pretty standard winners or nominees, I would say. And moving on to some piracy-related stuff. Oh yeah, this has been going on for a little bit. Japanese publishers Kodansha Shueisha Shogakukan and Kadokawa, so essentially everybody in Japan, all the publishers, formally filed a planned lawsuit against the American internet infrastructure company Cloudflare on Tuesday. Yeah, that'll really show them. The lawsuit alleges that
Yeah, and then Cloudflare will turn around and tell them to go fuck themselves,
exactly.
and they will get nothing. So
yeah. The lawsuit alleges that Cloudflare distributes data from manga piracy sites that infringe on the publisher's copyrights and seeks an injunction of about 460 million yen, or about US $4 million of compensation for the damages. Daja alleges in its announcement of the lawsuit that Cloudflare's policy of only requiring an email address to register for free allows piracy sites to hide their identity. Okay. And that Cloudflare has allowed multiple piracy sites collecting advertising revenue to operate. Blah blah blah.
Oh
Anyway.
no!
What a genuinely fucking awful argument.
It's time to fucking sue Canon because you can print manga out of your printer and sell it to someone else. Damn.
Anyways, you know, yeah. I mean, at
good
this
luck.
point,
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck, guys. Good luck
Next,
suing the
then,
company that when anything goes down, all of the internet fucking goes down.
yeah,
But
pretty much. Like
you,
Cloudflare is also never going
Godspeed.
down. And next and last piece of non-person news. The Fukuoka Prefectural Police have filed charges of copyright infringement against a company and a 44-year-old male employee who allegedly maintained a quote-unquote spoiler site that posted nearly complete text from manga chapters without authorization. According to the charges, the Tokyo-based company and the employee for Kanazawa City posted dialogue and images from chapter 60 and 62 of Yamako Sanrovich's Kengan Omega manga on May 7th and 21st. They allegedly viewed the chapters on Shogakukan's Manga 1 app, laid out the story in text with screenshots from the manga, and made it available on the site. According to authorities, the suspects admitted to the charges. Right. Well, that's not good. And one piece of person news before we move on to our shoutouts and callouts. Chiba City Police arrested and charged a 49-year-old male on January 21st on suspicion of quote-unquote quasi-rape, the legal term in Japan for forced sexual attempts on individuals who are unconscious or unable to resist, and attempted quasi-rape of at least 6 female cosplayers. What does it mean by attempts? I mean, this happened, right? Like the sexual assault happened, so it's not quasi, right? I don't really understand the prefix here.
I don't
But
fucking know, bro.
the authorities stated that the suspect, Kuroiwa Daisuke, allegedly contacted the cosplayers at cosplay events, offered to photograph them inside his car. He was supposedly offered them an unopened drink bottle and slip an incapacitating drug into the drink when the cosplayers were not looking. The
Don't do that.
suspect confessed at the time of the arrest that he targeted girls who didn't stand out and hung around the back corners of an event. Okay, well, I mean, that's still, yeah, okay. I am still a little bit suspect about the whole like quasi prefix, but yeah, good thing that this man got caught, and I hope the cosplayers themselves are safe, and hopefully they can work stuff out, or they can resolve this stuff. But anyways, that's all for the news today, and we are finally moving on to our shoutouts and callouts. everybody here gets one shout out and one call out each. And the shout out can be one person, place, or thing, anything that you want to praise to the heavens, 5 out of 5. Just thumbs up all the way. And call out is the exact opposite. One person, place, or thing that you want to hate, rage, stomp upon. You detest from the bottom of your heart. Again, it's any one person, place, or thing. And we start with Near. Shout us and call outs, please.
Um,
Tell us about your favorite NFT, Nier.
yeah. I don't know. Shoutouts to, I guess, the fact that we cleared P3S last week. That was very satisfying. Because that fight sucks. And I guess callouts. Jeez, I don't know.
Nier, what's your what Persona slash SMT game has the best music?
Good question. I'd say SMT game, like just overall.
Yeah, sure. The overall, let's say the multiverse franchise.
I don't know. It's kind of a generic answer, but I'd probably say 5. I really like 5 soundtrack. Persona 5, like it's quite
I
good.
like
You know?
Strange Journey.
Strange Journey is also very, very good. Yeah. But yeah. As for callouts, I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I had something like a couple days ago, but I don't quite remember. So
Was it Canada related?
it was. I mean, maybe. I mean, that fucking trucker convoy is like really obnoxious, but like, I don't think anything's really gonna happen from it. It's kind of annoying that like the only fucking piece of news that has like made global headlines from Canada is like a bunch of retarded truckers like whining that they have to fucking take the vaccine. But I think I don't know. I'm probably just gonna call out fucking NFTs. I'm just sick of hearing about them. Fucking annoying. They're really obnoxious. Like it's just I'm just sick of it, man. It's so tiresome.
Man, if they turn Keys and Eyes Legacy into NFTs, that's just gonna be sad. She's retiring next month.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Nier, for your shout out and call out. Dark, what about you?
I'm gonna shout out Punishing Gray Raven because it's a fun game and I've been having a lot of fun with it. So that's been pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. Game's fun. Got a good fast loop to get in and do your dailies, and then there's like some challenge shit that you can kind of just do whenever, which I really like. I think a lot of the other game modes they've been adding do add enough content to where it's like you can get it done pretty quick, but then you can like rerun it for no stamina and shit if you want to like try and get a higher score, stuff like that. So I think they're doing a pretty good job with that game.
Okay. Your call?
My call out's gonna be to I'm gonna call out people fucking bitching and moaning about Star Citizen again on the Reddit and other areas. Well, pretty much everywhere now. Because to make things kind of brief, Star Citizen has a release view tracker. Well, they have a progress tracker where it literally says what's being worked on by what team and for how long and when work completes on it. It doesn't usually specify exactly what's being finished. So I kind of hope that they add that now with their new changes, because they removed their like pseudo roadmap release like roadmap thing.
Mhm.
Um, and they made this really long statement where, in the beginning they were like, it's becoming like harder and harder for us to anticipate, like roadmap wise, what's going to be out when. Um,
Mhm.
Especially since now they're like doubling down on trying to complete the single player game first. So they're like doing features in the single player game and then they're bringing them over to the like persistent world, like the open alpha that's out right now. Um, and so people didn't like that, and so they're bitching about that. And it's like, well, you can still go to the progress tracker that gives you real info, not a tentative fucking roadmap that's meant nothing since they've introduced it. Um, but then the thing that people are really hung up about is that they had part of the statement basically say, time and time again, even though we put tentative on this, people kept taking it as like a promise. Like people kept interpreting it as a promise. Every single time something gets moved off of it, they said they used the term um, some amount of people, like a loud like a loud minority of people or something, or a loud number of people make noise about it, and it's becoming a distraction essentially. And so that turned into a lot of people being like, "Oh, oh, I'm sorry as a backer, I'm a distraction." And it's like, well,
I'm
yeah,
sorry, I thought this was America.
it's like, well, yes, if you fucking complain every single time something because it's not even like complaining. It's not even like, oh man, like sucks that this thing got removed from the fucking release view that was tentative. Every time it happens, it's always like, this game, like, I can't believe this was removed from the release view. I've been backing this game for 300 years. Um, this game is never going to come out, which, that one's fair. Um,
I mean, it's probably not going to come out.
I want I want X, Y, and Z's devs fucking head on a platter, and then I still won't be satisfied because you removed it from the release window, so it's not coming out yet. So also make it come out. And it's like, what the fuck are you like? What do you want? Like, no shit. Um, but like there, and I mean, again, like this is the whole fucking thing is like people completely talking out of their ass. I've seen shit where people are like, well, how come we haven't heard anything from the CEO Chris Roberts in like a year? I see plenty of other things where the CEO is constantly in touch, and then it's like people reply to that with like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, where you worked, or who you're talking about, but like, in what world do you get like quarterly updates from a fucking CEO? Especially when it's like project leads
Yeah, pretty
give us
much.
an update every week. There's a live stream every week that covers something. This last week was graphics, and it was the graphics team like leader talking about the new rendering system and bringing shit more to GPU intensity so that the game isn't CPU bottlenecked anymore. And so it just turned into this whole fucking thing where it's like a bunch of fucking people. I mean, it's just classic Reddit bullshit where people not fucking looking into what anyone's previous comments were anywhere, what fucking subreddits they fucking visit frequently, and then just circle jerking each other, where it's like, what are you even talking about anymore? Also, the best part is that a lot of the shit that was in that release view hasn't changed. There were certain things that were delayed from the upcoming patch that were like, honestly, fucking pipe dreams that were in that view that were like your personal hangar and shit like that. And I was like, that's not coming out in February or in March, rather. We have heard fucking nothing about that. There's no goddamn way that that's still on there. So it just turns in, it's like, other than that, it's business as usual. Like, nothing's even fucking changed. So it's like,
Right.
the progress tracker, I'm pretty sure, hasn't changed, and in fact has had things added to it where they're like, yeah, here's the status of these 2 ships that we've been working on. Like, here's their progress view shit now. It's like, so it's just a huge fucking like mess of actual noise. And I'm like, this is so unbelievably ironic that people got hung up about the noise comment, and then there's people bitching about massive delays when, like, one, the release view was never a promise to begin with, so it's not delayed. But 2, just proving the point of like nothing even really significant even really got moved, and you're like, I can't believe everything in the release view got delayed. It's like, that's not what happened, which is literally noise. And the argument to be made of, imagine going into work every day knowing that the thing you're working on was never going to be done in this date now, because a month into it you realized, oh, our internal dates were wrong and we need more time on this.
Mhm.
And then now it's like, you have your entire game's forum and like people on the forum, the official forum, the Reddit, YouTube videos about the game that are completely unrelated to the roadmap or that feature in the roadmap, bitching and complaining about it and just spamming everything. It's like, yeah, that will become a distraction for a developer. Like, that's undeniably a distraction.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
can. I mean,
that,
the thing is, like, I was one of those people that were skeptical when Star Citizen first came out about the
oh,
release.
I
But
mean,
in
Star
terms of,
Citizen's first 5 years I looked into it were a fucking mess. like,
yeah.
like
But in terms
development.
of, there's a difference between being like, yeah, I'm skeptical about this, and just kind of dogpiling onto something, which is
Yeah, and I mean, it's
obviously
not even just
Alien.
dogpiling. It's like, bro, you backed an alpha. Like, and especially like, to me, someone who's a longtime backer has even less of a say, because it's like, oh, I've been backing this game since Kickstarter 10 years ago. It's like, well, you're a fucking idiot. Like, anyone who backed the game on Kickstarter is a fucking maniac. Like, they had nothing, like, they had no fucking, like, solid anything. And you were like, yeah, I'll back this. Like, okay, you're a fucking lunatic. Um, so yeah, it's just like people not knowing what fucking like dev work is like, or game dev work,
Yeah,
or anything. It's like
it's a little bit
shit's a little
unfortunate.
different when you're putting down the fucking train tracks while the train's running. You know, and I think there's a
Yes.
point. I think there's a point to be made where realistically,
Mhm.
this game would probably be would either be more finished or even out, at least in like the single player like campaign mode, like the
Mhm.
story mode thing that they did. That would probably be out if we weren't able to play the game at all.
Mm.
Because it's like,
Just just because
they
they
have
don't
to
have to do like
prioritize now treating this game of like, we have to keep people moderately interested in this at least, and we have to make it feel not exactly like a fucking alpha test all the time.
this conversation actually reminds me of this one thing. So it's uh like years back, I volunteered at at a relatively big hospital, and we were tasked with kind of transporting, or I was in like the transport kind of volunteer section where we're just kind of carrying out different things, helping with patient discharges and stuff like that. And the tasks were just like giving flowers to people, or sending or transporting flowers, gifts from family and friends, right, to the patients, or food, or discharging the patients properly, or getting the proper medical kits to the nurses and stuff like that, right? And the higher ups, the people up top, always emphasize that we should, if we had a bunch of orders coming in at the same time, we should always prioritize uh, giving people the flowers and the food rather than helping out with the discharges and the medical kits first. And I was always confused, like, why, shouldn't we be helping the people who, need to get the hell out, or, need the medical kits as soon as possible, right? And the reason for that was because overall, when doing the survey, right, for obvious reasons, people are people are quote unquote happiest when they get the flowers and the news and the newspaper and the food or whatever, right? That's what they write in the survey. And so that was always prioritized. And I feel like this is the similar case where you're talking about, like the roadmap and like what they have to prioritize. And because people are always going to be like, oh, the thing that I can see is always, we need to fix this, or blah, blah. So that's always going to be prioritized over maybe the other stuff that a developer might have wanted to do. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. It's like they
and this,
can't, essentially, it's like, they can't buckle down and
Mhm.
for 6 months do like a sprint to finish off like some bullshit that really doesn't affect the gameplay right now,
Right,
Like
right.
not everything can stop to do that.
Mhm.
Like there's different teams working on stuff, but it's still like it's still very interesting to see that sort of development, to see what happens with that. Um, but also, like how about you relax? You fucking you paid to play an alpha. Like you're already if you're not okay with that, you're a fucking idiot to begin with. Like why'd you spend money? Like it's like, "Oh, what's that? This game was in development for like 10 years, but it's only been in like decent pace development for 5?" Yeah, I'll just drop money on that. It's like, "Hey, wait a minute. What do you mean this tentative roadmap changed?" Like, "Oh boy."
And
Like,
have to be, yeah, the buyer beware kind of stuff.
yeah. It's like,
But
"Come on, man." Like
yeah.
you can be upset that things changed, but then, move on. Like it's like you fucking crying about it isn't going to bring it back. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Anyways, yeah. Anyways, thank you, Dark, for your shout and call outs. Host, what about you? Host?
Dead.
Hell, there we go. All right. A shout out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'll shout out that that I guess I'll shout out that Hololive Myth and EID Gen 1 are getting their 3D debuts on Third Fest.
Oh
Good for
yeah,
them.
I heard about that. Yes.
They're not gonna be there in Japan, obviously. They're just saying like, here, have the models. So I'm guessing VR for their debuts or whatever. That's fine. Amelia Watson was experimenting with VR for a while, so I bet they collabed with her. I mean, she even did a VR collab with a Roboco, so
Hmm.
that's within the realm of possibility for their 3D debuts. So good for them.
Yeah.
Yes. Sure.
And your call out?
Uh, what's that one thing recently? My
I
call out
don't know.
is what's that one Korean show? What? Fire
Squid
Defender.
Game? I don't know.
No, the new Squid Game.
Squid Game season 2? Isn't it like Squid
Uh,
Game 2 or season 2 or
No,
whatever it's
it's
called?
#2 in the U.S. on Netflix. What is
Okay.
it? Let me Google Korean news for a sec. South Korea surpasses 1 million total COVID cases with daily records. Fire, defend yourself. Oh, it's
Oh,
fire.
all of us are
So
dead? Toki
Yeah, I
said
watched that.
that.
It's okay.
yeah, but wasn't this a call out?
Yeah, what's your call out?
Oh, it
What's the
sucks.
call out?
No, it
Oh,
sucks.
okay.
Why is it number
Sucks.
2?
Oh,
You just
okay.
said it was okay.
I
What?
mean,
It's all right.
so is it okay or does it suck? Which one is it?
If a
I mean,
Korean show is not top of the charts,
yeah, it's
then
fire.
it
It's no
sucks.
Squid Game.
Oh,
Yeah, no
okay.
Squid Game. But
I see.
I binged watched it in 2
If
days.
it's
It's
not
all right.
Parasite or Squid Game, it sucks.
Was Parasite Korean?
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
What?
Oh, are
The
you finding
movie
this
is
out
the
now?
movie is in Korean. What do you mean?
Is
Oh,
Toast just
that. Oh,
finding it
yeah,
out now?
that one. I was thinking
Yeah,
of
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Parasite the Maxim. That one.
No, no, no,
Whoops.
no, no, no. As in Parasite the movie. Yeah.
That one. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the one that won like 18 Grammys or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't watch Korean. What's that one series where about that South Korean girl meets a North Korean guy?
I have. Oh, I think there might have been something of. No, that might have been something recent. I forget. I don't even know. I don't
It's on Netflix. Is it
really
not on
keep up
Netflix?
with like movies in general.
Crash
Lately.
Landing on You. My mom has watched that series like 40 times. Whenever I
Yeah,
want.
what about Train to Busan?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Thanks.
What
God
about
Thanks.
damn.
that one?
That's my call out. That's my actual call
I'm
out.
waiting for the
Yeah.
Whitey for the
Where's
Whitey.
Train to Boston?
Yeah, I'm waiting for that.
It's
It's like Old Boy, but just with
What
zombies.
the fuck?
That's
What
kind
is
of
the
that's what
fucking
the review's gonna
American
be.
one gonna be called now?
I don't
Train
know.
Train to New York. Escape
Will
from
it
New
have
York.
Samuel L. Jackson in it? Is the real question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Snakes on the Train.
Yeah,
That's
you
a
know the
real movie,
zombies.
by the way. Snakes
But
on a
anyways,
Train is
Yeah.
a movie that exists.
yes, yeah, that's the sad part. The fact that Snakes on the Train is an actual thing after Snakes on the Train. Yeah,
It's like fucking
it's like Sharknado, but like they think it's like unironic. They like
Snakes on
they
a
think they're
Train.
serious.
It's like, and
And
like the
yeah.
plane I
Yeah.
get.
Yeah,
I mean, even the
just
plane
stop the
was just
train.
like the captain's quarter. Yeah, it's like was was the fucking what's it called? The conductor like the first person to get bit by a snake?
Oh my
But yeah,
god.
my actual call out was in the series, all of us are dead. When they, if you don't know, it's obviously a zombie series. When they encounter the zombies, one of the characters goes like, "This is just like Train to Busan," and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?
Oh my god. Please.
Are you kidding me? When did Train to Busan come out?"
I don't know.
Quite a while
I mean,
ago.
I like Train to Busan. It's in my top 10 zombie
Yeah,
movies.
and in the American remake, they're gonna be like, "Wow, this is just like the first season of The Walking
It's
Dead."
just like Squid Game.
What a Squid Game! Oh my god! I've heard people saying, "What a Squid Game had zombies," and this is all of us are dead, and I'm like,
It
oh.
is not. It does not make a lick of fucking sense. But sure.
But yeah, call out to Inspire Defend Yourself. How dare you? How dare you say Train to
Yeah.
Busan
Also, not
this
everyone in that
series?
series is dead.
Yeah.
Just
I
putting that out there.
apologize for whatever I need to apologize for. But anyways.
But yeah, so it's all right. It's all right.
All
But
right.
I will never forgive. I'll never forgive them calling out Train to Busan. Never.
Anyways, thank you, Toast, for shout out and call out. And I guess my shout out call out obviously goes to this winter storm. It's been pretty freaking horrible, and I had to go outside and get my car started up and stuff anyways. And so that was even worse. And my there are two parasites. Yeah, that's true. All of Us Are Dead. Yeah, Toku is talking about the All of Us Are Dead, which is like the
Yeah.
recent like movie Netflix series or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
where
what
they're
I was
like,
talking about.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The thing is, okay, a little bit a very mini rant I want to go on. It's like I feel
Damn, he
like
hates Korea.
yeah, I hate Korea. But
You hate Squid Game?
what
Damn.
yeah, I feel like I mean, I think it's already happening now, but I think it'll get worse in like the future where it's like the reviewers will go over to like the other side of the spectrum where they'll just like start giving rave reviews to random Korean films and series when they're not even that good. You know what I mean? And they'll just be like, "Wow, this is just in line along with the likes of Train to Busan or With the Gods or Parasite or whatever, Korean movie or Squid Game." And it'll just be some like random knockoff or some bullshit,
I mean,
and then
also
people will
Squid Game.
yeah, yeah. That too.
Like uh, Squid Game, well presented, but again, Whitey's first survival game. Like not exactly the fucking like
Yeah,
craziest
it
thing
wasn't
we've
it
ever
wasn't
seen.
that wasn't very impressive. But anyways, that was my like little mini rant for it's yeah, I'm
Byron,
not
what's your favorite Squid Game?
what's my favorite Squid Game? What is what does that mean? Like
Yeah.
you mean like
Choose your Squid
the
Game, dude.
Yes, choose your Squid Game. I
I
I like the marble one. That's my highest
I
chance of survival. Because when when you take those
I think
island
I'd
tests,
die in any one of them to be
what
honest,
Squid
but
Game would you survive?
I don't know, man. I'm pretty bad at like all of the stuff that was in
You're
there, but
bad at red light, green
it's
light.
probably the red light green light one that I have the best chance. But
What if someone pushes you? You're dead.
I mean, yeah,
Will
that's
they
why I said I
wouldn't
would
they
probably
be
have a
dead
pretty
too? Because
bad.
they have to move during
Yeah,
the red
they'd be
light.
dead too.
Not
But
if you're on the
as I
floor.
said, I'd be pretty bad in general. Remember when? Uh,
But yeah, but Spire, is the Squid Game actually real? I've never heard of it.
I don't think it's real. Though somehow I feel like it'll be in the news if it was real.
No, I mean
But
the last game was the actual Squid Game. Is that
yeah,
real, or did they make it up?
I'm pretty sure they made it up. But
Oh, so
anyways,
so so Korea lied to me. Okay.
yeah. My shout out. What should I shout out? There's not much that I really want to
Grim.
shout out. uh, there's not that much I want
Don't
to
you
shout
like
out
win?
these days.
Don't you like
Oh no.
winter, Spire? I like winter. Tell us about your winter storm.
Oh, I fucking honestly, anyways, there's not much to shout out. Maybe I'll just shout out Yukana because Yukana, the voice actress, has had her own channel and she's been releasing a lot of videos recently, and it's been pretty fun listening in listening in on her videos and stuff like that. Because obviously she has a nice voice. She's known for roles like Cece and Code Geass, Cecilia Alcott and Infinite Stratos, um, Mayo Izanami, Blaze Blue, a bunch of other stuff. Obviously, she's very uh, prolific voice actress. But yeah, she's been putting out a lot of videos. I've had fun listening in, and yeah, that was my shout out for that. And with that, I guess we are finally done with our shout outs to college and obviously the rest of the podcast. This was part 2 of the Winter 2022 series. God, there's so many like random tongue twisters popping up in this podcast so far, but we are going to be probably having 3 more episodes ish after this one and then going again right into our spring, but with that being said, again, if you guys do have any suggestions, please hit us up on our social media. Just, which ones you want us to cover, if any of them. And if
Yeah,
you do like what we do, we stream our podcast live every other Saturday, start from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at twitch.tv/4PlayAnimecast. That's with a numeral 4, where we talk about the latest and greatest in Japanese animation related media, anime, manga, light novels, web novels, visual novels, and so much more. So check us out. Here we have our recorded VODs of the podcast recording on Twitch as well as on YouTube. So you can check it out in whichever format that you desire. Please check up on our updates and news on our social media on Facebook, 4PlayerAnimecast, as well as on Twitter at 4PPAnimecast, all with the numeral 4. And with that, we'll see you next time.